Rachel. Yeah, I believe that. You're right.
Good to see you. How about you saw your best recent? Another one here. You'll have one each year.
I'm not at that beach, but I'm trying.
I'll just say yes.
I feel you on that.
I'm happy there's only two of us, so we'll know on March 4th. We'll be done. I don't mind. You're having several, there's one on marketing. There's one Saturday. And then there's one on Monday. So. That's right, just out of normal. Yeah. And you know their location. Oh, okay, it's at the Silver Spur. Water there. They're like. All right, guys. Hey, let's pray together. God, we thank you for today. Lord, thank you for just the opportunity to gather. Thank you for this great country that you've allowed us to live in. Lord, I pray that you would just give us your wisdom today. That's what James speaks of. We lack, we just ask. So today I ask for wisdom over this proceeding. God, I pray that you bless each individual here in this room, and thank you for all that you're doing in Zandt County. God, we love you. We give you this time. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. All right, pledge to the American flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Call this meeting to order and announce we do have a quorum. All myself are present. I want to ask that you silence your cell phones at this point in time, if you would be so kind. And general announcements. I have one general announcement. It concerns the early voting, and that is going to be held. Feedback. Where is it? Starting on next Tuesday, February the 17th. And Monday or Tuesday rather through Friday, it'll be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then on Saturday, the 21st, it'll be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then Sunday on the 22nd of February, it'll be from noon to 6 p.m. And then the following week from the 23rd to the 27th, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. There are two voting locations for early voting. One is the Zandt County Library on 317 First Monday Lane. And the second is at the Van Movie House in Van, Texas. That's on Main Street. So are there any other announcements that we need? All right. If not, next item is public comments, and the portion of the public hearing is item 5 and 6, and I'm keeping all them separate. And I have one that is not related to the public comments, and that is Michelle Beaver to talk about the burn ban. That is, yes.
Yes. So not talking for,
Okay.
so on the agenda is a burn ban, and I am not here to sway y'all one way or the other. I'm just here to explain some facts. With my observation over the years, I have been an active member of a volunteer fire department. I have fought fires, supported firefighters and civilians on active fires. Every year complaints would come in, we need a burn ban, there's a burn ban, and there's complaints not wanting a burn ban. The issue for me is not so much the burn ban, it's the citizens who don't want to comply with state laws and regulations and courtesies involving outdoor burning. And this is about outdoor burning. The state has a few rules. State of Texas outdoor burning regulations. There's a pamphlet there that you can go on, you can read what you can and can't do, even outside the burn ban. We hear time and time again, it was under control. It was until it wasn't. Fire is unpredictable. If you don't as a citizen take responsibility to burn something responsibly, everybody pays. Everybody does. Between the gross negligence and the responsibility, the law-abiding citizens that believe that they can burn whatever, whenever they want, is an issue. The burn ban stop this? No, it does not. It slows it down, but it's not solving the issue, and I don't think there's really you're ever going to solve the burning or the incompetency in the burnings, right? So what do? You have a fire marshal in this whole county that has been run ragged. You have one paid department in this whole county, and that's the city of Canton. The rest of them are volunteer. Who's carrying the load? South Van Zandt, Grants Lean, Wills Point. And then you have the smaller ones, Rolling Oaks, Whitten, and all the, depend on not an ESD, but who depend on their citizens to help fund these. And they're being run ragged. Just this year alone, and this is only South Van
Michelle, you only have 3 minutes.
South Van Zandt, where they have run 38 calls and 32 of them have been wildfires. And then last month, 9 of them have been underneath the burn ban. What's the solution? I don't know. But something needs to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. All right, that's the only public comment not related to the 5 and 6. So we will move on to this item number 4, discussion regarding a clinic in Canton supported by Blue Cross Blue Shield and UT Tyler.
Yes, sir. Doug Curran. I'm a family doc and practiced all my life in East Texas. I came here back in 1979. A lot of people were born, and practiced in Athens most of my career. Started Lakeland Medical Associates, and toward the end of the career, East Texas changed a lot in regard to medicine when ETMC sold the UT. And during that time, we got to have docs in East Texas. You guys know rural healthcare in our country, but especially in Texas, it is a real challenge. And we're trying to produce some docs. So working with UT, we started a family medicine residency program that teaches people how to do everything, including delivering babies. And we did this through a federally qualified health center. We started that, we started a clinic in 2020 and up in Gun Barrel City, and then moved to Canton to Athens for our residents, and then came to Canton after that. And we were empowered by federal money and money from the state. The state has generously supported these to help rural Texas. And so we moved to Canton, and there's just an enormous problem up there, as you all know, with healthcare for women and healthcare for pregnant mothers and children. And in fact, there's nobody in Van Zandt County now doing prenatal care and delivering babies for sure, except Bruce Woodall, who's up here doing them. And we have a clinic here, in the community. We've been here almost a year now, and taking problems getting certified and everything else. It takes a while to get all that done. So now we're up to full steam. We do have support from UT, and we have support from Blue Cross Blue Shield. The support from Blue Cross Blue Shield is specifically for women and for pregnant women and children. And they have given us a grant, and we're using that grant in your community. And, we are seeing Medicaid patients and patients with medical insurance. So hopefully we're empowering the physicians who are already here to see more people who can pay them so they can keep their doors open. And we want to work with everybody who's here. We work with Christus, we work with UT, we want to work with all your local physicians. We want this to be a community experience. And we will listen to you. We will meet with you anytime. We're excited that we get the opportunity to come up here because you need healthcare. You have one primary care physician for 12,800 patients. The average across the nation is 1 in 1,600. There's an enormous need for healthcare. And so anyway, with that said, I want Glenn Robinson, our CEO, to mention just a little about the mechanics of the clinic. And then I want you to meet Bruce Woodall, who's up here all the time, seeing patients, pregnant women and so forth, delivered lots of babies. He also has an interesting life experience you need to know about. Thanks for the time, too. We appreciate you moving this. We'd like to visit anytime. Give us a holler.
My name is Glenn Robson, CEO for East Texas Community Clinic.
as Dr. Curran mentioned, we started this journey in 2019, discovering and saw our first patient May 20th of 2020. Since then, to date, now we have a little over 14,000, almost 1,500 patients that we see. We serve Van Zandt, Henderson, and Kaufman County. So we pull from 3 counties that we see. And Van Zandt County is considered a medically underserved area, MUA, and it has been, I believe, since the 1970s. So it's continues to be a medically underserved area. With that, there's a unique opportunity for Van Zandt County for with the MUAs. There's the funding is a little more prevalent, so you're able to pull a little more funding for the MUAs to bring care to counties that need medical care. So we see everybody regardless of their ability to pay. So our fee structure, we use the federal poverty guidelines. So based on your household size and your income, our lowest fee is $25 for a patient to see, and that includes their office visit. That includes 5 different labs, all included. And we are able to do that in partnerships with LabCorp and our foundations that support us to help. Because we've got to pay police, we've got to pay doctors. So we function as a regular clinic, but we factor in that we see everybody regardless of the ability to pay. So it's been, and it continues to be a great journey. Our next moves are, we're already kind of looking at other sites in Van Zandt County for another clinic, hopefully in 28, and I say that as my hair falls out. But in 28 is where we're looking to the next. In 27, we're looking at, we've just received a grant to open a 340B pharmacy that will support our clinic here in Canton, our one in Gun Barrel, and our one in Athens. So it'll help give low cost medications to patients that need that, and also help generate revenue to help continue care of patients. So very complex. I deal with the federal government and all the Health Resources and Services Administration, or HRSA. I deal with them almost weekly, daily. But it's well worth it, because our bottom line is we're here for patients, and we're looking excited. We're excited about the prenatal expansion here. Mark your calendars for March the 25th. We'll have the president of Blue Cross Blue Shield here and some other leaders here for a grand opening here in Canton for expansion of the prenatal care. And with that, I'll lead into Dr. Woodall, who makes it all happen. I just take care of the administrative, and he takes care of the patients and make it all happen.
Well, I'm very glad he takes care of the administrative part. My name is Bruce Woodall. I grew up in East Texas. My parents were in the cattle business near Sulphur Springs. My wife and I graduated from medical school in San Antonio together, and then we finished our family practice residency program in 1992. My career has been in critical access hospitals. I've typically practiced in towns of less than 3,000 people, where the typical hospital had a general surgeon and 2 family doctors. And it was the family doctors like myself to do the deliveries. You can look at mortality statistics for pregnant women and newborns, and they are directly relatable to distance from healthcare, distance from a clinic offering prenatal care, and distance from the delivery hospital. Also, obstetricians tend to be concentrated in urban areas, so it is to family doctors who can do deliveries to cover our rural counties like Van Zandt County. Now, the important thing is that only 10% of family doctors nationwide are delivering babies and doing cesarean sections. So that training doctors to do that is a critical need, which is exactly what Doug Curran arranged with the family practice program in Athens. We are training rural family doctors who can be hospital-based, who can do prenatal care and deliveries, and who can even do cesarean sections. And so please come by the clinic where we are now, right by Chin's Buffet. Stop by, say hello. I'll show you. We've got on-site ultrasound, and we're ready to take women and do prenatal care here with them delivering.
And it was our intent to add you to the agenda today, really to introduce you to the community and to the Commissioner's Court. And to further point out that you're adding a benefit here and you're not coming in here asking for anything from us, you're just wanting to introduce yourself to the community. And so we do appreciate you, coming by.
Now, I wanted to alleviate any fears of that because, I don't want anybody coming from Dallas or Tyler and tell us how to do business. You know, we know how to do that ourselves, okay? And, so I don't want to tell you guys how to do business in Van Zandt County. I just want to tell you, we're gonna offer high quality care. We want your input, we want your ideas, and we'll use them. I mean, that's the goal. The people we see, I hope you understand that. We're seeing no pay people, and we're seeing Medicaid people, and we're seeing Medicaid, Medicare people. Those all, as my private practice, I can't see those people and pay my bill. There's no way. But the federal government has done some good things. They are offering additional funding for what we do. But you have to follow all the rules. That's why Glenn's here. This guy's ex-military. I told the guys at Lakeland, I do this once I've had fun. I mean, he was in Abilene for years and part of the medical team there that took care of the pilots and everything. So he knows how to play the government people. Which drives Bruce, my friend. I want to go see a patient, love on them, care for them, spank their kids, do whatever else I need to do. And, I do, because I know that's a sensitive issue in Henderson County too. We appreciate everybody's help, but, but we're here. You guys call us if we can visit anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Appreciate you. Pleasure for you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I will now take us into public hearing at 9:17, where we will discuss related to moratorium to temporary halt all green energy projects in Van Zandt County, while a permanent moratorium is considered. I have a stack of those who have signed up. Those that didn't sign up and want to speak will be able to do that after I recognize all these people. And I do it in the order in which I received them. However, our state senator, Bob Hall, has requested to speak, and I'm going to go ahead and let him lead off.
Thank you. I'll try to be brief if I can, get to the point. I know you guys have a tough job. Sometimes we at the state level don't make your job any easier, and some things that were done a long time before I got there, it kind of tied your hands in what you can do. But in this issue, the state has stepped up, and we passed a couple of laws. I see no reason that you can't use to expand on. We passed a law that makes it illegal for anything that was made in China to be tied into our electrical grid. And we also did one on taxation so that you can't give tax abatements. Now, it may take a little creativity to do it, but any group that's creative enough to come up with the ordinance that you did to invite gambling into Texas in violation of Texas law should be able to come up with something that is within the law. Because that law is bringing crime, is bringing drug cartels, is bringing trafficking and prostitution here. And that ordinance is in direct violation, but you guys came up with a way to do it. You found somebody who can cleverly do that, to use as an excuse to bring gambling here. So if you can do that.
Mr. Hall, how's that relate to moratorium?
It has to do with your ability to pass the bill. If you can pass a bill like that or an ordinance, you can pass one that complies with state law. It has to do with it because you pass one that's in contradictory to state law. It ought to be a piece of cake to pass one with state law.
And we have to say about that, so.
Yes. That's right.
Okay.
And I'd be glad to find each of the numbers if you'd like them. There, on all three events. Specific 4701 that does specifically say that those devices that are now being overlooked are illegal, period.
All right, next up is Nancy Watt.
So a year ago, from tomorrow, we were passing the 391 commission in this court. I don't know if y'all remember that. We were trying to find out how to ensure citizen safety and welfare. And we passed this and we started looking for a second and we were not successful. However, in that interim of trying to find that second, Commissioner Williams started looking at the fire codes, and he and our fire marshal Kevin Palmer and our district attorney Tonda Curry began requesting proof that they could meet the fire standards and codes. In that, it was discovered that they had these Chinese components that Senator Hall is mentioning, that he passed in the 89th legislation, these laws that we can use effective September 1st. We were successful as a commissioner court to pass a restraining order against this battery storage system because they could not prove that they could meet state law and fire standards and code. This was carried by our district attorney, Tonda Curry, at no cost to we the people. She carried that burden for us. We are now looking at the fact that we have 17 builds planned for our county, and we have now spent one entire year almost on just the restraining order for one build. We can't even get one build to comply. How are we going to focus on 16 more? So when we're looking at this, we're trying to figure out what can we do to ensure citizen safety and welfare. We need to make sure our people are safe. I have provided the court with 2 expert letters, one of which is recognized in the International Hall of Fame for his cyber expertise. He ran the Electric Power Research Institute for over 15 years. He is recognized all across Congress and more for his expertise. The second is actually written patents in operational technology and cybersecurity. And in these letters, you will find that they will support Van Zandt County specifically in our moratorium and explain how that complies with the law that Senator Hall just mentioned. The reality is that we have the means to do this because your people are in danger, not only from a fire. We're not just talking about a fire. We're talking about a foreign adversary who is known for using military civil fusion. What that means is they will use your property, a civilian build on your property, to endanger you for military purposes. The governor of Texas acknowledged this in his executive order GA-49, where he says that these companies, these CCP, Chinese Communist Party, will use everyday things to attack us for real world harm to break our will to resist. We have more than 1,000 of these in Texas. And right now, we are the only county with the spine to stand up against an adversary to America. In this crowd, you're going to find people from all across this state that have shown up today to show you support. When they come and speak and you hear which counties they're from, you will understand. Their commissioner courts are not doing what you gentlemen are doing today. They are not showing up for them in the same way, so they drove hours to be here today to say that they support you because they support the fact that you are willing to stand for our land and for our people and for our safety. It's not a matter of liking a bill or not liking a bill. It's not a matter of, are we making money from it? At the end of the day is, are they following the law and are our people safe? And that's all I ask you to consider whenever you're looking at this today. Thank you so much.
Next up is James Matlock. James Matlock. From Cushing, Texas.
Okay, I thank y'all for doing this. I'm from Nacogdoches County, wanted to come in really, highlight Van Zandt County for what you're doing. So in 23, I kicked off a campaign for Railroad Commission, asking some questions. Who authorized the sale of our oil and gas assets and mineral rights to the channel? It took me a year to get an answer. That answer was nobody actually authorized it. Problem is, nobody saw a threat until you brought it up. Now, why did I bring it up? I took an oath in 93 or 92 to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies. As a Marine, I was anti-terrorism. That was my background. We've been at war for decades, and it's been right here on our soil. You're stepping up and taking control to push back against foreign adversaries. And I want to I hope you vote to approve this moratorium because Texas and the United States are waiting to see what you do here in Van Zandt County. And I appreciate that.
Next is Rachel Hall from Rusk County.
I wish I was related to Senator Hall. My name is Rachel Hale from Rusk County, and I first want to commend the Commissioners Court for being one of the first proactive courts in the state of Texas. While many commissioners across Texas believe their only option regarding battery energy storage systems is to deny a tax abatement, this court understands that the projects can move forward regardless of that decision. Thank you for thinking outside of the box and working within Texas law to form the 391 Commission and to utilize state fire codes to temporarily halt construction here at Van Zandt County. I respectfully urge the court today to adopt and pass the moratorium. Doing so would send a strong and decisive message, not only for Van Zandt County, but for the entire state of Texas. Thank you for your consideration and your tireless work on behalf of the citizens you serve. Thank you.
Next up is Kimberly. Is that correct? With Smith County? Okay.
Kimberly Christensen. Be short and sweet. I vote, sorry, I support memorandum 6.
All right. Thank you very much. Next up is Ellen Layer. How do you pronounce your last name?
Layer is correct.
Layer, I got it right. Very good. She is from Plano, Texas.
Thank you, gentlemen. My name is Ellen Lair. I support agenda item 6 and the proposed moratorium on battery energy storage systems. I live in Collin County, but I'm here because what Van Zandt County decides today affects every county in Texas. Communities are being asked to accept industrial scale BESS facilities without clear answers to fundamental questions, and that's why a moratorium is necessary. This isn't about being anti-energy. It's about responsible decision-making before irreversible harm occurs. With BESS, critical questions are routinely unanswered or answered after construction when it's too late. Decommissioning responsibility is a major concern. These projects last 15 to 20 years and are often structured through leases or layered ownership. When projects change hands or companies dissolve or declare bankruptcy, there is no adequate financial backstop for cleanup, hazardous material removal, or land restoration. That risk does not disappear. It shifts to the county, the community, and the landowner. Battery disposal is unresolved. There is no closed loop recycling system today for utility scale lithium batteries. Many components are hazardous, creating the risk that counties become long-term storage or transfer points for toxic materials. Remediation is costly and uncertain. Once soil or groundwater is contaminated, cleanup can take years, sometimes generations, and costs frequently exceed bonding, leaving taxpayers exposed. Land use is not temporary. BESS sites are often functionally removed from productive use for decades, affecting agriculture, property values, and long-term tax base stability. All risks are not fully known. We've seen thermal runaway incidents where fires cannot be extinguished, toxic chemicals travel miles, and residents report illness far from the site. Water does not stop them, and it will burn until the fuel is gone. That matters in rural counties, especially with limited resources. We just heard about the fire issue. This is why best projects must be evaluated before approval, not justified after construction. A moratorium does not mean never. It means gather independent data, require enforceable financial guarantees, clarify decommissioning and disposal plans, protect landowners, water, public health, and county finances. I urge you to adopt the moratorium. Thank you.
Next up is Steve Oglejoy. What is it? What's your last name?
Oglesby.
Oglesby, okay.
That's probably my fault. I was the one that wrote it. You're having now.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I'm gonna keep it brief. Y'all know the dangers, y'all know the problems, y'all know the issues. I'm from Bowie County, Texas. That's Texarkana. Also representing some folks from Red River County, Clarksville, Texas, that would ask me to speak up for them as well. 254 counties in Texas have been told there's nothing you can do. They're gonna do what they want to. You have no jurisdiction. You can't do anything. Y'all figured out how to do something. And yeah. Y'all might be setting something in motion today that's going to affect the entire state in a really positive way forever. So thank you for what you're doing. Please support this moratorium. Stand up for the entire state of Texas and for anybody whose dirt touches Texas, anybody whose air touches Texas, anybody whose aquifers touch Texas. Thank you for what you're doing.
Next up is JP Fisher from Grand Saline.
My name is JP Fisher. I'm here to defend Texas and Van Zandt County values, property rights, local jobs, and Texas independence against a moratorium being pushed by folks that just got here and don't understand how we do things in East Texas. Be crystal clear about what's happening. People who moved here from out of state, they bought the property, made their choice. Now they want a multi-generational Van Zandt County family, what they can and cannot do with their land. That's not how we do it here in Texas. If a rancher in Van Zandt County wants to lease part of his property for battery storage, just like he might for oil and gas, cell towers, or hay storage, that's his God-given property right. This moratorium says that we know better what to do with your land than you do. Since when do we let newcomers who've been here for 5 minutes override property rights of families who've been here for 5 generations? 6 on some. I've heard people spreading fear about safety, so let me give you some facts. Texas has dozens of battery storage facilities operating right now in Odessa, Sweetwater, Sulphur Springs, Hopkins County, Hunt County, Houston, Bastrop County, Fort Stockton, and all over the state. How many fires have they had? How many incidents? Not one. Not a single one in Hunt County. We have one of the largest battery facilities, 190 megawatts, 0 problems. Hopkins County, Sulphur Springs, 100 megawatts, 0 incidents. Houston, 200 megawatt facility, 0 problems. Nationwide, the failure rate for these facilities has dropped 97% since 2018. That's less than 2% of all installations ever having a malfunction. You know what's caused the problem in Texas? It's unreliable grid. During Winter Storm Uri, over 200 Texans died. During Winter Storm Heather last year, battery storage saved $750 million, kept the lights on for hundreds and thousands of homes. People pushing this moratorium want you scared of technology that has a perfect safety record in Texas while ignoring real danger, which is not having enough power when we need it. These best projects bring $100,000 to $200,000 a year in property taxes to Van Zandt County. Money we desperately need. Money that requires 0 services. We could probably use them in our road and bridge. Here's the kicker. Last August, Texas Attorney General ruled that Franklin County had no legal authority to ban these projects. They wasted taxpayer money on a lawsuit that they lost. If you pass this today, we'll be in court next month, but every dollar you spend will be gone. We won't be able to spend it on roads or a sheriff's department or lowering property taxes to people that live here and are from here and have been here. I've looked at who's pushing this moratorium, and a lot of them have been in Van Zandt County less time than it takes to grow a good tomato crop. They moved here for a way of life, low taxes, property rights, freedom, and now they want to change the rules for everyone else. That's not protecting Van Zandt County, that's California in my Van Zandt counties. Hunt County and Hopkins County aren't afraid of battery storage. They're collecting tax revenue while their grids get more stable. Why should Van Zandt County be any different? Commissioners, you got a choice. You stand with Van Zandt County landowners who want their property as they see fit, bring tax revenue in the county, and keep Texas energy independent. Or you can side with some of the newcomers who want to impose the fears on everybody and cost us millions in legal fees, which it will be millions in legal fees, defending a losing lawsuit and sending our tax revenue to Hunt County. This moratorium violates Texas values, it violates property rights. And the fear mongering about safety is contradicted by dozens of Texas facilities with perfect safety records. I ask that you vote no and defend our landowners and defend Van Zandt County. That being said, there's always fire with lithium. There's more fire in this county every year by hay baling than there will ever be by an FPL battery, not an MCL battery. FPL batteries, when they off gas night. Less than a sparrow's fart. Groundwater contamination would be phosphorus, so your grass would be greener. I would say that every hay pasture gets more phosphorus on it every year than one BESS facility burning to the ground with new batteries. Old batteries, I would be against them 100% of the time. That's not what we use today. We use FPL batteries. We need to know what we are using. Thank you for your time.
Next up is Kim Bridge. You have, yeah. Y'all need, we need to get handwriting classes. Because I am not clairvoyant. I cannot write. What, how do you, Bridge Farmer, okay, there it is. Your pen was skipping, that's what it was.
So I drove down here from Nacogdoches County because we're facing the same issues as you guys. And I just wanted to show my support for this moratorium. I think they need a halt to these green energy scams. And I'm hoping that Nacogdoches County and all the other counties will take your lead. And that's enough.
Next up is Greg Harrell.
Judge, commissioners, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Greg Harrell. I hail from Hood County, Texas, southwest of Fort Worth. And I act as the Hood County Republican Party chair there in Hood County. I also am the SREC, the State Republican Executive Committee representative for SD 22. So I have 10 counties plus parts of 2 other counties responsibility for the Republican Party in Texas there. So I drove over from Hood County to speak to you this morning as you consider this moratorium. As was earlier cited, many of the folks that have already spoken have indicated that all eyes are on Van Zandt County right now. You have a huge responsibility before you. We understand what that responsibility is. The problem that we have here in Texas right now is that this technology, things like BESS, the data centers, other things that are plugged into our grid are moving so quickly that they are well out ahead of our capability to provide regulatory structure around them. One of the things that we are victims of here in Texas is that we love our freedom and our lack of regulation so greatly that we ask that our legislature only meet 140 days every 2 years, and that's a good thing normally. But when we talk about the fast advance of technology, like we're facing now across every county in Texas, we're unable to catch up with the advance of technology, and that's what we're dealing with here. As Nancy pointed out, what we know is that there are components in some of these green technologies that are truly dangerous to Texas and Texans. And we need to have a breather, that's what we're asking for, a breather to allow us to understand exactly what it is that we're dealing with and to make sure that we get some framework around these things so that every Texan can feel like that they are safe, that they are protected, that our water is protected, that our grid is protected. We need to slow down. You have an initiative in front of you. Every county, every little county, my county is looking at you right now. We're looking for leadership. We're looking for guidance. You have this issue before you right now. Our great president, Ronald Reagan, said, the first duty of government is to protect the people. That's what he said. We just celebrated his birthday. The first duty of government is to protect the people. I ask you to be brave, to be courageous this morning, and to pass the moratorium. Thank you.
All right, next item up is Angela. She spelled it. I cannot, yes, she spelled it. I cannot, what is it? Bright price. Right.
Good morning. First, thank you so much for considering this. I've been studying Agenda 21 and 2030 and sustainable development for a while, and I'm going to commit to it from that perspective. Those are two of the United Nations plans for global governance. This is not an environmental movement, but political movements to control the economy, development, and redistribution of the world's wealth on a national, state, and local level. In 1992, President George H.W. Bush signed the United States onto this at the Rio Summit. 1 year later, President Bill Clinton signed the Executive Order 12852, creating the President's Council on Sustainable Development, creating non-government organizations working directly with the United Nations to implement Agenda 21 in every single government agency. The Department of Education, Department of Homeland Security, the EPA are all using our tax dollars to steal our property rights and incrementally undermine individual sovereignty. The 3 E's of the United Nations are social equity and economic justice and environmental justice. Environmental justice takes us to global warming or cooling or climate change, whatever they're going to call it this week, which takes us to net zero carbon emissions, which carbon dioxide is the gas of life, which we know that plants exhale. We exhale, plants breathe it in, produce oxygen. Farmers pump this into their greenhouses to enhance plant growth and crop production. According to Henry Lamb, environmental justice says that man is responsible for all of nature's woes. The presence of man on the planet is an environmental injustice. Consequently, it is critical that all of man's activities be severely controlled, of course, by the government, in order to promote the environment or to protect the environment. Hence, green energy, solar, wind, and battery energy storage systems. Trump called this the biggest con job in the history of humanity at the UN General Assembly about 4 months ago. The United Nations globalists are working to bankrupt the United States in order to level the playing field to enslave humanity in a one world economic, political, and religious system with climate change as the pretext. Thank you, Van Zandt County Commissioners, I support you standing against this agenda and in favor of the moratorium. This evil, by standing against this evil, and you're setting a precedent for other Texas counties, the state of Texas, other states, and the nation.
Billy Graham famously said, "When a brave man takes a stand, the spines of others are often stiffened." Thank you for being brave. Thank you for having a spine, and thank you for taking a stand. I'm from Rains County, and we are counting on you to do this so we can follow your lead. Thank you so much.
Next up is Dwayne Collins.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address you, and I think everybody in here, except the people that came from other counties, know me. I'm a veterinarian, landowner, farmer, rancher, wear many hats, firefighter, volunteer firefighter. I do a lot of calls and talk to farmers, ranchers around this county. I'm also president of the Republican Club of Van Zandt County, and I can assure you, the voters, the people that I talk to are for this moratorium. The gentleman that was up here talking about the fires, no problems there. Ask Ben Wheeler, the 75 fires that they. 72 fires that they responded to in 1 year at the solar farm. So the voters are behind you. I'm proud of you, and let's get this done. Thank you.
Next up is Daniel Hunt.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Daniel Hunt. I live down near Murchison, Texas in Henderson County. I am the former Henderson County Republican Party Chairman, former State Republican Executive Committee man for Senate District 3, and I'm now the only current conservative Republican candidate for House District 8. I came here this morning with a prepared speech, and everyone else has stolen my thunder, and I appreciate that. There was one issue that was brought up that I would like y'all to consider. So I'm kind of going on the fly here. A gentleman earlier spoke about property rights. Absolutely, we have our own property rights here in Texas, and we have amazing property rights. However, one person's property rights end for another person's property rights to begin. These battery energy storage systems and wind and solar farms and all that, I'm sorry, they're not needed. We have immense resources here in Texas. We have all the natural gas we could ever use. We have oil. We're the biggest oil producer in the world. There's no need for these battery energy storage systems and other green energy type things. This is a fad. A lady spoke earlier about how it's being pushed by the UN. The last thing we want to do is follow the UN. I would like to remind the Commissioners Court, and I'm sure y'all already know this, you have several duties as commissioners, but one of your biggest duties is to defend the safety of the people of Van Zandt County. We're coming up on the 190th anniversary of the independence of Texas here in about a month. I would like y'all to remember it was about 190 years ago, Travis at the Alamo drew a line in the sand. I'm asking the Van Zandt County Commissioners Court to draw that line in the sand right now. There's all counties around Texas. The governor is probably watching this broadcast right now. Y'all need to set the standard, show other counties how it can be done, how you can defend the safety of the people of Van Zandt County. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all even being willing to consider this, and I encourage you to pass this moratorium. Thank you.
Next up is Susan Ackerman.
Morning.
Susan Ackerman, I'm from Savoy, Texas in Fan County, where we already have a best plant. And our commissioners were weak and they would not stand against it. I live about 5 miles from there. I'm building a generational place. I moved to Texas from Washington State. And I came to Texas because it's free. And this stuff I could lose everything I've invested into this property. I have 3 houses, a community center that's made to help the people in our area. And because of this best plant, I could lose everything. My children, 2 of my children live there. I have grandchildren that live there. I wanted to die in a safe place when the Lord takes me home. I commend you for standing against this enemy that's trying to come into our state, into our country, and destroy it. Once their chemicals is on our land, it's forever gone. We can never get it back. The generations of Texans that have poured their heart and lives into their ranches, it will be destroyed. I ask that you stand and pass this, and that you have courage. And I pray for you that the Lord would strengthen you. He would give you faith, courage, like he gave Joshua going into the promised land. But he gave Moses, because you have a thing. What you do today will change the course of Texas. It will change the course of the United States, that we take back the power for the people. That's what you stand for, the people of Texas, for the next generations. When the doctors were standing up here and talking about how underserved this area is, that is why they pick the rural parts of America and Texas, because they think they can walk all over us. But you men have courage and faith and strength. And I commend you. I pray for you. And kudos to you for standing up to the enemy. Thank you.
Next up is Roger Cada.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Roger Cada. I'm the mayor of Savoy, Texas, in Fannin County. And I've lived with this for the last 14, 15 months. So I'm in favor of this temporary moratorium in Van Zandt to protect Texas from the CCP. And I want to make that clear, Communist Chinese Party. My biggest concern is I've talked to cyber experts, and if it's connected to the internet, it can be hacked. And I just want to put that out there. And they couldn't confirm that they had backdoor security. I'm just telling you that. At the north end of my town, there was proposed a 300 megawatt facility of battery energy storage system. But they changed it on their own without permission to 770. So it was actually from leased land. An abatement was granted for 9 acres, but ended up after the suit, because we've gone through that, being 20 acres. They got all 20 under the abatement that was originally 9. On that 20 acres, there's 280 40-foot containers of sun-grow equipment made in China. I have documentation of that. And this equipment also has cattle batteries on it. So this site is 700 yards away from my grade school. And that's a big concern for me, for my children. It's also in similar distances from my citizens, and it's less than a half-mile downwind from Bells, Texas, grade school and high school in Grayson County. And this sun-grow equipment used in this project is not in compliance with the Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act, the governor's office, or the AG's orders. It's not in compliance with the things that we heard earlier from Bob Hall. This company did not notify Fannin County or seek necessary permits before beginning the project. It was not discovered until 6 months into the build that the work had begun. And after several meetings, Fannin County inspected the site and identified a number of Texas fire code issues that were specific to the site. Over the months that followed, the Best Company withheld taking the necessary action to fully comply with the request. To date, not all fire codes have been addressed. And even though the Best is operating and connected to our grid, Instead of complying with the fire codes, the best company chose to sue Fannin County. The best company strategically used, this is important, strategically used in their litigation the words like wrongful taking. Wrongful taking that was done strategically to limit our resources from our insurance company in the state of Texas. It says that then in their suit, they limited the county's insurance company to properly litigate the action. A gag order was also established for 100 days, during which time the batteries were engaged. And even after the litigation, the best plant still has not met all the specific necessary fire codes. And sadly, no one in the state of Texas will enforce the Lone Star Construction Protection Act or the established laws of the governor's office or the AG's office. We can't get action. Now the best is operational. And now 800 acres of farmland, generational farmland, was acquired to build a data center. Data centers require a lot of electricity and a lot of water. Water requirements for the data centers on average for a small one is 450,000 gallons of water per day. And if it has multiple sites, which this one probably will with 800 acres, 5 million gallons of water per day. And the stuff that comes out of that is not what we want anywhere near our drinking water. This means that their water needs will require a deep well, and if TCEQ does not stand on this, the water usage could challenge the city of Savoy, as well as the surrounding cities, communities who require waters from shallow wells, because they can't afford to go deep right now with the expenses. Last week it was discovered plans have been approved to build two power stations. And these power stations will be using turbines. They're saying 6 of them now. With the way it's been going, I don't know if it'll be accurate or not, but we'll see. And then these turbines, along with their noise and air pollution, will be approximately now 300 yards from my grade school. They don't care. And if these data centers are built as planned, it'll be devastating. It'll make a devastating impact on the city and the cities surrounding Savoy. Their lack of action to comply with the state fire codes necessary for the site still have not been completed, even though the best plant is connected to the grid. In my opinion, the best site, data centers, and power stations will create imminent danger to the neighboring schools, and residents living within my area. So with that said, I want to make sure that we understand that I'm supporting the temporary moratorium in Van Zandt to protect Texas from the Communist Chinese Party, which we don't have security to know that they can't backdoor us. And so that's my biggest concern, and I want to compliment you for taking the stand. That's why we drove in this far, because we need somebody to be the Alamo in Texas. And I'm looking at so thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Roger. Next up is Virginia Beaver. Or Bauer. Is it Bauer? It is Beaver, okay. I can't tell the V or a U.
Should be easy to read, right?
Maybe you should go to a reading class, Judge, not a writing class.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Virginia Beaver, and I own 13 acres in Fannin County in Savoy. And I just wanted to talk to you about, some of the threats. I taught chemistry, physics, and environmental science. And also prior to that, I worked for a hazardous waste incinerator in South Carolina. So I understand, the regs, I understand the chemistry, I understand the threats. I am in favor of this moratorium because a BESS plant that produces 770 megawatts of power was established in our county, right north of our town. This is, like Roger mentioned, it's 20 acres and it's 240, you can imagine, containers, those big container size, 40-foot containers of these Sungrow parts that are cattle batteries. They're made by the Chinese. We've already talked about that. They're attached Chinese party. We know that already. We've talked about they're not in compliance with the Lone Star Protection Act, the governor's prohibited technologies list, and the attorney general's order stating that we need to stop this and not allow this on the Texas grid. So not only does it have foreign parts that they're a threat to our grid, it's not in compliance with the health, fire, or safety codes. I've looked into it. There's no air permit. This is how these large companies work and operate. They put in a new tax abatement in our county without adequate public hearings or environmental impact assessments, allowing construction to go ahead and proceed unchecked. Construction began in 2024 despite the complaints of residents over fire risks, toxic emissions, and the toxic emissions are hydrofluoric acid, which is really bad. I don't know if y'all have seen what happens when a lithium battery catches on fire. It just keeps burning and burning, and it puts off that and heavy metals. So there's also the noise, the road damage, and the grid reliability impacts. Residents showed concern for our untrained volunteer fire departments and not be able to handle best fire. County Fire Marshal requested a compliance meeting in May after construction advanced significantly. In the meantime, there were loud popping sounds coming from the site, insurance cancellation for nearby properties due to their proximity risks. We lost a business. To make matters worse, there was rushed facility walkthrough at the best site with an out-of-state expert to approve operations after local citizens reported that there's Chinese source components. This walkthrough was a suboptimal attempt to claim the batteries were safe. During construction and prior to startup, Fannin County attempted to hold the company's site to the NFP fire codes. Instead of complying with the fire codes, the owners of the facility strategically chose to sue our county for wrongful taking. This limited the county's insurance policy to properly litigate the outcome of these allegations. Instead of fighting, our county officials allowed the company to operate through a settlement. And this settlement came with a 190-day gag order, which kept the county officials from discussing it with the citizens of Fannin County in and out of court. So I commend y'all for what you're doing. In spite of our efforts, October 14th, 2025, during the gag order, the Commissioners Court voted and approved that the startup of the BEST plant without an emergency response plan or all the needed safety features on the plant site. It appears that state-level group incentives have been prioritized over our safety in the name of economic development, which was the reason for the changing of the Board of Commissioners 2022 tax abatement. So I'm in favor of stopping these large companies from taking and polluting our land and creating a health and environmental threat to our hometown counties and our state. So thank you for your time.
Next up is Mason McAllister.
So I am very much in favor of this. And I do hope y'all pass it, and I'm gonna give y'all a recent or a good example. So these energy companies are doing, okay, what they're doing for taking up farmland. I live on a farm that has been in our family since 1860. Or the 1860s, I believe 1864, but we're checking. And like I said, we've been up here a long time. People grew up coming up here. I learned to drive a truck up here, back a river up here, shoot gun and fish, all the holidays and birthdays, and now we're doing gender reveals and that sort of stuff up here. And I mean, basically, I'm just trying to say it's been special to us. My wife and I, we got the chance to move up here 11 years, and that happened to be 2 years before, or 2 years after my grandpa passed away. In his obituary, the very first line ends with the sentence, "His legacy will endure," which is why we named our place Legacy Farm. And sorry. What I'm getting at is basically, my story is at the end of February of 2025, we were approached by some guys that identified themselves as partnered up with some energy guys, and they wanted to build an AI data center, and they needed our family land. Quickly told them no. He threw out a number, and I explained to him, like, it's been in our family almost 200 years. I plan on giving it to my girls one day, and that was the last I'd heard from him. So literally a week later is where I met Nancy. We had a BEST plant that snuck in up there, which they briefly told y'all about, and that's a mile away from my place, same side of the highway, and all of that. End of 2025, we're driving home from church and I see survey markers on the corner of our place. And so I knew, they're surveying something, somebody's selling something. So I called my neighbors. My neighbors were very vague. Told me they were selling. They said NDA, but they would not tell us who the buyer was, would not tell us anything. The very next day, we saw the survey crew out there, and the survey crew showed us what they were surveying. First, we thought it was 315 acres. That's what they showed us. They showed us who was selling and all of that. Come to find out, I used the snow days because I kept hearing rumors of AI data centers. I used the snow days we just had, and I went door to door and I started talking to my neighbors. At first, they weren't answering, but I left my jacket in the truck and I knocked on the door, and it was cold outside, so they started answering. I got out. All of them told me that they were under contract. All of them told me NDAs. All of them told me data center, but they would not tell me anything else like that. Would not show me anything. And the more I pressed, the quicker they showed. So my thing is what y'all are doing matters, and y'all are really setting the tone for all of this. I don't think it's fair that my girls are gonna have to choose between selling the family farm or growing up next to all this crap that none of these guys want to live around. And so I'm very much in favor of it. I know you guys are, like I said, setting the tone, and my prayer for y'all is David firm with life results. So go for it. Kick the butt. Thank y'all.
All right, that is all that have submitted forms. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Right. These I won't have any trouble reading the names, so, but I'm gonna have to write them. What is your?
I'll give you a real easy name, sir. Pete Chambers.
Okay.
I was hauling to get here. I'm sorry I couldn't fill out the form in time. But commissioners, thank you for this time. I came here from DFW, but I'm from Hayes County. And just for background context, to understand who that's talking to you. Did 39 years worked for Ronald Reagan, my first president, as an infantry guy, and went to Green Berets and ended up as a senior commander, lieutenant colonel. I worked in the Texas National Guard for the last 8 years of my life and commanded one of those units, and then worked on Operation Lone Star. My primary specialty is, as a Green Beret, counterterrorism. You have all the merits and all the particulars. You probably drank from a fire hose of information on this, and it's important to understand how to drink from a fire hose on information. I'm gonna play on something Mr. Hunt said. Right now it's the 11th of February, but on the 24th of February, and I'm sure he was formulating this letter in his head at this time, 1836, William Barrett Travis, he wrote a letter. And this is the theme that I keep hearing today. Just it's kind of nice to back clean up, or if I'm the last one, that's what I am. Fellow citizens, compatriots were besieged on all sides by enemies under Santa Anna at that time. But right now it's different. It's principalities, rulers of darkness. It's things that we can't see. There are things that we can see. The things that we can't see in this nation, I'm going to tell you from a counterterrorist specialist now, is there's an insidious onset, color revolution that's taking place in our nation. That's the highest levels. And I speak to those levels still. DIA, other agencies. The Pentagon, still friends with those folks. I still listen. I only took off my uniform in 2022. This attack, this is just another vector. The things that Nancy's brought forth and everybody else in this room has brought forth, and Senator Hall, that the reason that they're staying ahead of the curve on this is because we don't want to wait until after it happens. I understand you all, I can see head nods. I can feel that there's some agreement here, but as William Barrett Travis, I'm not going to belabor this long because you have everything. I'm just in support of this. But the reason that, as William Barrett Travis went on to say, we're calling everything that is dear to the American character. I'm going to say the Texan character at this point, to come to our aid with all dispatch. You have done that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Your name, sir?
I've got another easy one for you. Jay Ford.
Okay.
So, Jay Ford, I'm from Rains County, your neighbors to the north. I am actually currently running for Range County Judge. This is one of the primary reasons that I am doing that. Range County is under attack from my perspective. The DFW Metroplex area is coming this way, and these things are happening. We already have a solar farm that is nearing completion on the north side. There is a battery storage facility that is already approved and will go in on the south side. This is not the environment that many of us, we talk about landowner rights, and we talk about the lifestyle that rural Texas breeds for us. This is very important to me. I grew up in a small community. I think it made me who I am today, the values that I have. And I'm nervous and I'm worried, the gentleman talking about all these things coming in all around you, what it is doing to our environment and everything like that. Primary reason that I want to be judge in Range County is to try to do exactly what you guys are doing right now. Right now, we're not doing anything. We're taking the 254 counties don't have any opportunities or any rights to stop or do anything like this. I applaud you for taking the initiative. That has been my approach. It's worth a fight, right? So thank you for that. And I promise that whatever happens with my election, I am going to follow y'all's lead in this for sure. Thank you.
Got two.
Got two more.
My name is Win Sloboda. And I'm from Henderson County. And I support the moratorium for temporary and permanent. And a lot of things have been talked about, but my concerns are with the Chinese sourced equipment, of course, for security reasons. But there's also a bigger problem with the Texas power system and grid. I've got a sense that they're going in the wrong direction. Be a major correction that the grid needs to be decentralized and not networked altogether to avoid major problems. If you do have a problem in one area, it's more isolated. It doesn't cause a chain reaction over a huge area. The other thing is they need to look at sourcing, starting up full-time based power systems, not intermittent power systems that run with the weather part of the time, and other systems that are trying to back that up. It's too tricky. They need systems that are reliable and are 24/7 operating. So what I'm in favor of is overhauling or disbanding Energy Reliability Council of Texas and the Public Utility Commission, because they've lost their way. They're going for the wrong direction. So I'm for other power sources. The new administration, the federal administration, is looking at bringing on small nuclear reactors that could be modularized. And they're bringing them on for operation for testing by July 7th. So that's a big opportunity right there. And just like Van Zandt County has an opportunity here with this precedent with a moratorium, I think, it's critical. I guess that's all.
Thank you, Win.
Suzette Rogers, Range County.
What was the last name?
Rogers, RHG.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared to speak, but I have a bunch of notes, and we'll see how to do. The first thing, I want to thank you guys for doing a moratorium. I have talked to my precinct manager, or excuse me, commissioner, and he is going to get with Nancy after this is over with, so to find out what you guys have done. I moved to Texas when I was 6 years old, and my dream was to own land. I finally have it. 57 years later, the best facility is going across the road from me. My whole entire property will now have to look at this thing. I wanted to leave my land to my son and grandchildren. I don't want to spend my eternity worrying about their health and their safety. I shouldn't have to, just like that lady did. The man who said that it's Texas rights, I get it. I get it. But when does your right as a landowner to lease your land out for something that's not safe? Or when does it override my rights? It's not fair. My neighbors are generational. They would be here today, but they had a funeral to go to, or I would have had more people with me. They can't stand against this person either. And this man who owns the land, it's not generational. It's money for him. That's all it's down to. You said Hopkins County has the best facility. Well, I started putting this stuff on Sulphur Springs 411. I can't tell you how many people are standing up with me trying to fight this for Rains County. Hopkins County didn't fight it. They should have. Their citizens wanted to fight it, but they didn't. Their commissioners did the same thing that mine are doing. There's nothing we can do. Yes, there is. There's a lot we can do. Last thing I want to say is that the fight has to start somewhere. If we don't show the state of Texas solidarity with our rural Texas for our homes, our lives, our families, that we are worth fighting for, then they won't care. State of Texas won't care. The federal government won't care. The cities will win and rural life will be destroyed. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, sir. Your name?
Steve Schneider from Kaufman County. And I just want to support you gentlemen on this moratorium. Takes a lot of courage. I recently bought 33 acres of ranch land in Van Zandt County over by where one of these battery storage facilities are supposedly going to be built, only less than 3 miles as the crow flies from my new property, which I'm going to have my daughters and their families live on the same property. And it really concerns me because what we need to do is you guys need to stand in solidarity with the people that you represent in this county. Unfortunately, the commissioner's court in Kaufman County don't have the same level of courage and loyalty to their constituents, of which I'm one, about another issue that's gripping Kaufman County, and that is another Muslim community trying to set up shop right next to a 2,000-acre solar farm in Kaufman County. And I hope that those commissioners can do a moratorium, as you guys are about to vote on this moratorium, because we are under so many trials, not only in this state, but throughout this country, for the basic freedoms that we hold dear as Americans and also as Texans. So I just want to tell you, I really am proud to be here, took time off of work to be here, to be amongst you gentlemen that can make a stand, not only for Van Zandt County, but as other people in this audience have said, for throughout this great state of Texas, because we need you to stand firm. And the only question I have is, I know that some people have talked about a temporary moratorium and maybe a permanent. But what is the duration of the moratorium you guys are going to vote on?
We'll cover that.
Okay, you'll cover that. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
And then.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My name's Kathy Boren. I'm from Franklin County. And I'm so glad you guys are standing up. Our commissioners did pass the moratorium, but it was very short. Solar companies come in, they threaten them with lawsuits, they folded. All these guys have told you the same things that I can tell you, other than my husband, myself, and a friend of ours, Mr. Hicks. We did file a lawsuit against NL. And they came to us in December and they said they were leaving. Now, what they did say is that if they couldn't sell it, and they didn't think that they could, that they would be gone. But if things change and the subsidies come back, They'll be back. They'll be back. So you guys, I'm proud of you for standing up to it. Keep going with the fight. Thank you.
Now we got Ann Nelson.
Hello, I'm Ann Nelson. I hadn't planned to speak, so this isn't well prepared, but I'm very concerned about the notices I get or the letters about, hey, do you want to lease your land for lithium mining? Do you want to do wind turbines? I get a lot of them. It scares me. I want peace. I want quiet. I want nice rural life. And I would love if the commissioners could say, yeah, I'm going to protect you all. You know, I'm going to make sure those data centers don't show up. I'm going to make sure lithium mining isn't happening. But truth be told, you don't have the power. You're very limited as commissioners as to what you can do. And I love having local government. It's responsive to the voters. But somebody's got to have your back. And those people are the Austin legislators. I'm hearing county after county after county that has the same problem. So why aren't they demanding that their House representatives, their state senators go to Austin and give the county the authority and the power that you all need to do the zoning, to do the regulations, to put a stop to billionaire corporations coming in and overrunning the company of the county. So anyway, for all of you from rural counties, please say to your people running for office that they will go to Austin. They will support your rural counties. They're going to change the code. I believe it's section 271 to give counties local land use authority, to give them the same power that cities and municipal governments have to zone and to regulate. We cannot ask all these county governments to do it on their own. We need to stand behind them. We have to have their back. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Name is Mary McLennan.
Okay.
Last name is like Wacos County with one C. I'm really proud of you guys for doing this today. I can claim both Franklin and Titus counties as home. Since August of 2022, we've taken every step to deter renewables from the counties. In 2022, we became aware of 2 solar and BESS projects planned primarily for Franklin County. Based on the Chapter 313 applications filed with Mount Vernon ISD and other information sent, we're looking at approximately 8,500 acres and up to 7 BESS in and bordering Franklin County. No construction has occurred in one site that Kathy referred to, but the other transferred ownership. It has begun dozing and burning mature trees this past August. In August of 2022, I was researching solar in Texas and came up on news how Van Zandt County had turned them away. I contacted former Commissioner Virgil Melton for any guidance. About 1.5 years later, David Dunnigan was posting about fires at a solar site. I was shocked. What happened? So I followed Van Zandt County actions in the County Commissioner's Court since. I applauded the temporary restraining order last spring by DA Tonda Curry preventing any batteries from entering the county if Tulare Amador Energy cannot provide proof the batteries are safe. Today, I urge the court to pass a moratorium based on Governor's Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act and the investigation by AG Paxton into the security of the components in the solar and BESS complexes. We must use the limited tools available to county governments to prevent the infiltration into the power grid. And I know a lot is said about private property and they look bad, the danger of them, but it's come down to the grid. The entire state thanks Van Zandt County Commissioners for being a leader and taking a stand to protect the health, safety, and the grid of the people. Please pass this moratorium based on prior actions and the groundwork laid by AG Paxton and the Governor Abbott. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? All right, would the commissioners like to make statements during the public comment period?
Let's close that and then we'll go right into.
Okay.
question later.
All right, it is now 10:25.
I
And
make a motion to close the public.
all right. Motion has been made to close the public hearing at 10:25, seconded by Commissioner Curtis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. All right, item number 6, discuss and consider a moratorium regarding any non-operating green energy projects in Van Zandt County.
Well, I appreciate the fact that all of you came from, in some cases, very, very far away. I really appreciate your voice, and I appreciate the support that we've been given. And to that end, which is unusual for me, I've actually written out my remarks rather than trying to just remember them. And so I want to talk to you for just a minute. And what I want to cover is I want to talk about how we got to where we are with this process and the limitation of its scope and its duration, because I believe that it's necessary to comply with state law. And I want to personally thank Senator Hall for giving us really the lever that we could use in order to make this happen. You know, I believe there are seasons in life of a community when caution must give way to conviction, when silence must surrender to resolve. That hour is upon us today. Today, I'll place before this court a motion, and I intend to make that before any of the rest of these guys do, a motion for a temporary measured moratorium on the use of any equipment that's listed on Texas Governor's Prohibited Company and Equipment Registry in faithful alignment with the Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act. This step is not rash. It's not reckless. It's a deliberate and time-bound. It's designated to really provide the Attorney General's office the necessary space to complete an investigation into foreign components that may be woven into the backbone of our critical infrastructure. At the close of last year, the Attorney General's office opened an inquiry into the Amador Best site here in my precinct. Let me read you just a bit of what Attorney General Ken Paxton said. I opened an investigation into the use of products from contemporary Amprex technology company. We'll use the shortened form CATL, a company aligned with the Chinese Communist Party that could be violating state law through its involvement with the Texas power facility. Texas must not follow foreign communists to infiltrate. We must not allow foreign communists to infiltrate, interfere, or otherwise undermine our power grid or other parts of our state infrastructure, said Attorney General Ken Paxton. The CCP is a bad actor, and it is unlawful for aligned companies to meddle in our state in order to grant backdoor access to their handlers. If you mess with Texas, I will come after you, close quote. In September 2025, the Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act took effect, prohibiting business entities from entering into agreements that would grant a Chinese-controlled business direct or remote access to critical Texas infrastructure. However, listen, a power storage station currently under construction near Maybank, Texas, has used CATL components for critical pieces that have also failed to pass certain underwriter laboratory tests. Yeah. This is what Attorney General Ken Paxton said. So he's opened an investigation to determine if the use of CCP-aligned cattle products violates Texas law by enabling access to critical infrastructure by prohibited actors, posing a substantial risk to Texas power grid. Attorney General Paxton has vigorously opposed CCP-aligned companies from taking advantage of Texas consumers or unlawfully interfering with Texas state security. And the folks that are concerned about land use rights probably, perhaps, have never heard about a company man coming to your property saying those words, eminent domain. Well, I'll tell you, I am grateful both to Bob Hall and I'm grateful to Nancy White, who brought this issue to the attention of Ken Paxton's office. Her persistence ensured that this matter received the attention that it deserved. See, vigilance begins with citizens who care enough to speak and leaders who care enough to listen. And I'll tell you, some people say, I'm just a housewife. I'm just the teacher to my children. Oh, no, you're not. You are the fabric of this community. You are the strength. In 1 year, she rose from regular, everyday, common person to a leader in this community on these. So let us remember our charge. We were not elected to safeguard corporate margins. We were entrusted to guard the well-being of families, to protect the lights that warm their home, light their home, the water that runs through their faucets, the communications that connect us in times of emergency. Our allegiance is to the people of Van Zandt County, not to distant boardrooms. There are murmurs of lawsuits and warnings of resistance, but there's a greater danger than litigation, the danger of inaction. I believe that the true failure would be to see risk on the horizon and choose comfort over courage. Texas law is not silent. Some folks have said there's nothing you can do. We beg to differ. You see, the Health Safety Code affirms our authority on the Commissioner's Court to act to protect public welfare. The Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act speaks plainly. Entities owned or influenced by foreign adversaries, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, shall not gain access to the arteries of Texas life. Our electric grid, our communications, our water systems, these aren't just utilities. These are lifelines of a free people. We have been patient. We sent letters to Amador. We told them what we needed. They chose, well, they haven't been able to comply. They haven't been able to comply with 850. But when the governor added CATL to the prohibited list, that signal was unmistakable to me. The duty before us became clear. This moratorium rises not from fear, but from responsibility. It's tethered to the Attorney General's investigation, and it will stand only so long as necessary, just like our temporary restraining order. You want to operate? Comply with 855. We want it to be safe. And that's what this is also. This is a measured, time-sensitive issue. So if one facility may introduce prohibited components into our grid, and this is why a moratorium, I believe, is necessary, the prudence demands that we ensure that others are not doing the same. This isn't alarmism. This is stewardship. We stand at a crossroads today. One path bends beneath pressure, retreats from criticism, and measures leadership by the absence of conflict. The other path requires a backbone. And I am speaking to the other commissioners' courts out there that have chosen to not be in. It asks us to endure noise in order to secure peace. It demands we act not for applause, although I appreciate it. I always enjoy that. But I act for posterity. I act for the future. I choose the latter, definitely, because I choose to stand with the citizens who have urged us forward, whether they're Van Zandt County residents or otherwise. I choose fidelity to Texas law. I choose the safety of our communities over the convenience of complacency. Van Zandt County has never waited for permission to do what's right. We are the free state. We are. Across this great state, there are communities watching, quietly hoping that their leaders will rise with the same clarity of purpose. We don't do this to make headlines, although it does. We act to make a difference. The people of Texas deserve defenders of their security, not managers of decline. They deserve leaders willing to defend the sanctity of their homes and the reliability of the systems that sustain them. The loss of power, of communication, critical infrastructure would not be an inconvenience. It would be a catastrophe measured in livelihoods, not life, but in very lives that could be lost if we don't have electric, water, gas. So we make this pledge. We make this pledge to you that we will guard what's been entrusted to us. We will defend what generations before us have built, and we will preserve for our children a county, a state, a country, secure and unafraid. For Van Zandt County, for the Lone Star State, the enduring promise of Texas. Thank you. And with that, I would make a motion after further discussion, but I would make the motion that we pass this temporary moratorium and have communication to determine specifically with the Attorney General's office, the length and duration of this, and that it be bound to that, to the Attorney General's investigation, because we really do have to know what's connected to our grid. I believe it's our obligation. And not only that, but I believe that if you want to be sued, wait till one of these happens and what the people of this county will do to us. That's what I'm concerned about. So
emotion clip.
I've made motions and emotions and some commotions.
I'll second that motion. I'll also say, this court doesn't always get along, and we all have our wheelhouse and our perspective, and we all have a vision for this county. And I think everybody in the public has said what they feel, and I think it's pretty obvious that this is Cliff's wheelhouse. And I think Commissioner Williams, Nancy, Tonda, Senator Hall, and I don't know who else was on y'all's team, but deserve a lot of credit because y'all put a lot of work into this. And
Do you want to read the motion?
Yes.
I think it needs to be read.
I would-
This is the one.
I don't read so well. An order of Van Zandt County, Texas, declaring a temporary moratorium on surface and construction operations related to the commencement, building, and/or completion of all green energy projects within the borders of Van Zandt County, including but not limited to battery energy storage systems, solar facilities, and wind energy projects, making written findings of necessity pursuant to Texas Health Safety Code 121-003, providing for notice and public hearing, providing for severability, and establishing an effective date. The purpose of this moratorium is to allow Van Zandt County sufficient time to study, review. Is this the one I sent today? And to evaluate compliance with health, fire, safety requirements, cybersecurity safeguards, and enforcement mechanisms applicable to all green energy projects. During the moratorium period, the county shall evaluate risks to public health, safety, and welfare arising from green energy projects, including fire suppression, emergency response capacity, and proximity to residences, cybersecurity and operational technology risks associated with foreign manufactured hardware, software, firmware, and communication systems been included on the Governor of Texas prohibited company list. Compliance with current and anticipated Texas directives, including executive actions of the governor addressing prohibited technologies, critical infrastructure protection, and foreign adversaries' influence. Adequacy of existing county ordinances in compliance with state law including but not limited to NFPA Fire Code and the Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act and the Critical Infrastructure Protection Act to regulate siting, construction, operation, monitoring, and decommissioning of green energy facilities while protecting infrastructure in accord with said and referenced state laws. The immediate necessity is because the county has received plans from one developer who expressly intends to use equipment from a manufacturer that has been placed on the governor's prohibited entity list. The county is responsible for the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens. Therefore, further research and study is required to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of Van Zandt County. Notice is given of the public hearing of the Van Zandt County Commissioners Court, and that hearing will be conducted pursuant to Texas Health Safety Code 121003 on February 11th, 9 a.m. Van Zandt County Courthouse, County Court at Law Courtroom. All interested persons are invited to appear. Finding as a fact, green energy projects increasingly rely on complex interconnected operational technology and communication systems integral to critical infrastructure. Failures or compromises of such systems pose material risks to public safety, emergency response, and property. Rural counties such as Van Zandt County face heightened risks due to limited emergency response capacity and resources. Findings of fact related to cybersecurity and foreign influence. The governor of Texas, acting under his constitutional and statutory authority, has issued executive actions identifying the restricting prohibited technologies associated with foreign adversaries. Contemporary Amprex Technology Company Limited, CATL, has been placed on the governor's prohibited technologies list due to cybersecurity and national security concerns. Green energy projects may incorporate foreign linked software, firmware, and communication systems capable of remote access, monitoring, or control. County level review is necessary to ensure compliance with state policy and to prevent irreversible installation of prohibited or high-risk technology. Finally, necessity and legal basis. The Health Safety Code 121003 authorizes as follows. The governing body of a municipality or the Commissioner's Court of a county may enforce any law that is reasonably necessary to protect the public health, close quote. Only 24 more pages. The county requires the completion of the Attorney General review to fully study and comply with emerging green energy technologies and amalgamate such findings as referred by the Texas Attorney General Office in relation to compliance with the Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act. A temporary moratorium is a reasonable, proportional, and narrowly tailored response to protect the public interest while regulations are developed. Any moratorium shall be tailored to include the findings of facts, necessities, and legal basis after the Texas Attorney General Office has concluded their investigation into cybersecurity linked to the critical infrastructure. The end.
All right, I'd like to make a statement. Question is how did we get here today? First solar farm project came to Van Zandt County in 2017. I was involved. A resident, David Dunnigan, found out it was going to be in his backyard. He was going to be looking at the field of solar panels, and he got the community together. Grassroots. He got people together, and we found out, and we demanded that they provide information and more information and in that regard, and it didn't happen. Okay, they didn't provide that information. They eventually went away. But in this process, 2018, Mr. Dunnigan has done an enormous amount of research. He keeps us updated through his Facebook page on how many projects are in our county right now. There are 4 and I could be off a little bit, but there are 4 solar projects, 9 BESS projects, 1 wind farm. Okay. This land has already been leased. Hundreds of property owners in Van Zandt County have already leased their property for these projects right now. So, and now they're in a planning stage. And you know, and why are they coming to Van Zandt County? We have not offered anybody a tax abatement. No one has even come to us at tax abatement, and but they still come. When they can go to Hunt County, they can go. I think Rains County has actually offered them tax abatements. And I know there's best facilities in Henderson County, in Kaufman County, in Smith County already. And none of them, there's no opposition in those counties in the commissioner's court. But there's not much we can do up until the point they start construction. And the county was in January of 25, we decided as a commissioner court to make our fire marshal position a full-time job because it was part-time and a full-time job. And we hired a new fire marshal. And that was incredible in what it did for our county, because this was about the time that Tulare was starting to build their facility. And so the fire marshal was able to go in there and say, okay, and he's the one that did the research and found out about the 855, NAFP 855 and the codes, because we as a county cannot create legislation to regulate property. Okay. And all we can do is enforce already existing state laws. And the NAFP 855 was already in existence. So that's what we went to them and said, they got to show us the plans, the drawings, the construction. And that is at that point in time, we realized that they didn't have a compliance report showing that the batteries are in compliance with UIL and with 855. And that's where we were able to, through Tom Curry and the fire marshal and Cliff Williams, put everything together to file the TRO in April of 15th, I believe it was, of 2015. What that TRO said was, you cannot bring the batteries into Van Zandt County until you have demonstrated they have met the 855 compliance. Okay. And they were, this was April 15th. They were planning to bring them in April 26th. Okay. This was roughly 2 weeks before they were planning to bring them in. And so that gave them the opportunity, and the TRO, they have still have not been able to comply and provide the information that was needed and show compliance of the batteries. And that is why the batteries are still not in Van Zandt County. They have done all the construction, putting the transformers and the racks where the batteries are going to go is already. So it's just, and quite frankly, if they get compliance with 855, you know, that eliminates our problem there, or eliminates their problem, but there may be others that will do that. So, but what has happened is that again, the citizens of Van Zandt County have stood up, and they've come to us and asked us to do something about it. What happened when Governor Abbott made his announcement on January 26th of this year, gave us an out. We cannot issue a moratorium against the green energy facilities because Fannin County did that several years back, and the Attorney General issued an opinion and says the county does not have the authority to do that, to issue a moratorium. Okay. So so technically that's why we did not follow up, because it's already been issued. But when Governor Abbott issued his directive, and the Attorney General said we are going to have to start doing the research on this, that gave us an out, because now this moratorium, one, is temporary, and it's based on what Governor Abbott has said and what the Attorney General has said. And it just says, we are saying that cannot continue, cannot any kind of production work until the Attorney General has completed his investigation on what these different components are and what the state's going to do about it. Okay, so that gives us the opportunity to do this moratorium that we are not creating any regulations or ordinances. We are just trying to enhance or enforce what the governor and the attorney general has done. And that's the whole purpose of the temporary moratorium that we're doing. Because you know, and part of the situation is that as I said, we are required by law to enforce the public safety and well-being of our citizens. And this is what we're trying to do. And so we want to make sure to get this out there while we have this opportunity, and we're not actually issuing any kind of ordinance or regulation. We're just asking to enforce what has already been done by the state. So I would hope, obviously, there's a lot of emotion on this. I feel very confident. I have talked to many of the other county judges, and I've talked to others in Kendall and Kerr and Erath and several other counties that are facing the same problem. And there's over 200 of the 254 counties are rural counties, and they don't have, many of them don't have a fire marshal. You know, they don't have the ability to go out and enforce some of these things and go through all the technical documentation. We have that ability with our fire marshal, and we have the ability with all the research. We have the ability with the backup and support from Nancy White and all that she's been able to do, and with David Dunnigan. So we have the resources. So now it's time for us to use those resources and make this moratorium. So. Any other comments? All right, a motion has been made and seconded to for the resolution, Van Zandt County green energy moratorium. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. I'm gonna suggest that we take a 15-minute recess.
Motion.
And we will come back and complete the rest of the agenda items. But you're convened.
You mind taking our picture? Turn it around.
Whatever.
I know they have the buttons. Well. Maybe they're close to the game. Yeah. My goodness. Yeah. I don't understand. That's just really not right. When it's over.
Yeah, walk out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seems like I was gonna put up about it.
Actually works.
Oh, yes.
Which is not best. Huh? Oh, you bet. Yeah. Good, you. Yeah, yeah. I didn't eat breakfast.
I didn't either.
Yeah. I'm using that way.
What, yeah, watch out. Everything you say is being recorded. Okay. This is the one you sent me last night. Okay, that's because it has land regulations. Like, whoa. You're right. No, man. I'm gonna put your two items up first. Right now, we're gonna skip to them so that y'all can get it taken care of. That would be wonderful. Thank you. Yes, please.
I already had my Sprite for the day, and I got Coke. But no coffee. Nope, there will be no coffee.
I don't, wait a minute, I don't drink coffee either.
Only time I drink coffee, I'm very tired and I'm traveling, and I'll be down a bill. Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to find the agenda item on the burn ban. I'm somehow,
It's 8.
oh, okay. All right, the court will come back into session at 11:10 or 11:09 and from recess. And I would like to have, I'd like to move to item 8. While we have the fire marshal here to discuss and consider recommendation from the Van Zandt County Fire Marshal to implement a countywide burn ban and authorize Van Zandt Fire Marshal to rescind the burn ban upon improved conditions.
Yes, Court, thank you for having me again. Bottom line up front is, yes, I am recommending a countywide burn ban for the next 30 days. The biggest issue that we have right now is that because of the unseason-like high temperatures that we had, the lack of rain that we had this winter. And because everything is in hibernation mode, all the vegetation is that everything is staying at the soil level. So even if it rains tomorrow 2 inches, the next day it's going to be ready to go. And that's what we're seeing is even burns that start out as controlled burns and vegetation stuff that would have been legal under, Texas burning codes, that they're moving faster than what people expect. And so we're really going to have to wait until the vegetation gets out of this hibernation mode and starts bringing some of the moisture up into the vegetation so that it's not as dry. So that's why I'm recommending the 30-day burn ban.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So I had a gentleman call me when we issued the first burn ban, and he was a farmer.
Okay.
And of course, they got to get their fields ready.
Yes, sir.
And he was asking me about a burn ban. I was like, no, we're under a burn ban. And can they get ag exemptions?
They can. They need to work through the commissioner, and then so we did issue one exemption in Ms. Curtis's precinct, but that was the person contacted him. They got in contact when we evaluated, made sure that we had all the precautions, that it did not have the possibility of leaving his property lines. There was a lot of work that was put into it, but there is a chance to do an exemption. But
So I know I have some in my precinct that they're gonna have to burn it off. So I need to
yes, sir.
ag exemption through that.
Yes, sir. And they're just going to need to know it's going to be more work than normal because we're going to have to till up around their property and have lots of water and get fire departments involved. And it's not just a phone call. Yeah, go ahead. There's got to be steps in place because, like I was saying, those controlled burns that normally go very well every year, they're not going well this year. Okay.
Well, I've got a concern on that.
Yes, sir.
It's the one that went on in precinct 1.
Yes, sir.
The guy that done it.
Yes, sir.
Told me that y'all just requested 100 gallons of water.
So whenever he called me as well, and I think he called me first and was asking what was going on. And I was telling him, what's supposed to happen during regular times. And so like that 100 gallons of water is a minimum during regular times. They had more water than 100 gallons once we actually assessed the situation.
Okay, because
So
you and I both know that 100 gallons on the
Yes,
grass
sir.
are not going to go nowhere.
yeah, it's situational. So
Yeah.
it's kind of up to how big is the property, where can it go? It's going to dig that.
That was my only concern.
Yes,
was
sir.
that being a volunteer fireman for approximately 40 years,
Yes,
I
sir.
knew that 100 gallons wouldn't do no real fat.
Yes, sir.
If it got away.
Yeah, no, it is a site-specific plan.
Okay, thank you.
So is it a written permit that they get from the fire marshal office, or is it verbal, or
So whenever they call me, I did document it on my side, and I called the sheriff's department and let them know that one was going to be on in case they got any calls. Okay. So it is documented, yes, sir.
I kinda
went out to the property, I took pictures of it. I documented that we had this spray rig out there, volunteer fire department was notified.
And the volunteer fire departments in that area. So I don't make that decision by myself. I also call the fire departments and make sure, do y'all have the resources to help out this situation? And in that situation, they did.
I never heard about it when Tony had told me about the ag exemption. And then I've got 2 more farmers in my precinct that have asked me about it. I'm like, well, there's an ag exemption, but I saw this burn ban.
There was only one for we.
Huh?
Yeah, to answer y'all's question, it's site specific. It's not like, hey, it's Joe Bob Wilson and I know him, go ahead. It's not like that at all.
Can I weigh in?
Yes, sir.
So it's supposed to rain Saturday. I just think, I think what you're recommending is I think we need to wait till at least a minimum of 30 days. I don't care how much.
Yes, sir.
And I think we just need to go ahead. I think you're right. When grass starts growing, we'll be a lot safer than all right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree. Because if we start doing it, well, burn ban's off, burn ban's on, we're not gonna know when the burn ban is.
Well, it's kind of like Michelle said, it didn't matter really when the last burn ban went in, there were still people burning and getting out of control.
Yes, sir.
So are you issuing citations to people?
Yes, sir, I am.
And what is is there a cost to the citation?
Yes, sir. It's a minimum of $500. It's a special misdemeanor, $500 fine for
Okay.
first violation.
for burning during a burn ban without permission, okay? All right, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
We make a motion. I'm
Oh.
a motion burn ban.
Okay. I thought I had it. There we go. Motion by Commissioner Phillips, seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign, motion passes. All right, I would like to now go down to item number 19. Option of an abatement procedure for public nuisances and for we could relate to both fire marshal and health authority.
You gotta close the meeting and go to workshop?
I don't know if I have to close the meeting, but I can. I will put the time that we went into the workshop. And that would be 11:17. All right. 11:17, we are closed a regular meeting and going to a
Yes, sir. So the Texas Government Code allows counties to adopt a procedure for health and safety code abatement. And so this county has not adopted one. So right now, if we have a health and safety violation, I can issue citations. And I can continue to issue citations, but that's all I can do. The actual health threat still exists if they don't actually clean it up. So what this procedure allows us to do under the Texas Government Code and with the under the local health authority, Dr. Daly's guidance, is if we cut. This is a last straw. We've done everything that we can possibly do to work with the property owner to mitigate that threat, and it's just not happening. And it's a real threat. It's going to. It is either spreading disease or has the potential to spread disease. And that threat actually needs to be taken care of along with possible citations. So for example, let's say I go up and there's a bunch of junked out cars, and that's all they are is junked out cars. I'm going to take the normal steps that I do to issue citations and things like that. That's not necessarily a health and safety threat. That's not going to spread disease. This is for areas where, again, it's rodent infested, there's proximity to the neighbors, and they are not going to clean it up. If that were to happen, then I would involve the county commissioner, wherever that property was located, and I would involve Dr. Daly, and we would all go take a look at it and, come to the consensus that that property does have a health and safety threat to the general public around it. Then it would come to the commissioner's court. We would, discuss it and vote on it. And at that point, the actions that we could take is to put with that county commissioner. That county commissioner would have his crew basically bid how much it would cost to clean up that threat. That would be a part of the commissioner's court. And if the commissioner's court approved it, then that crew would actually go and abate that threat. And then whatever the cost was to abate that threat, a lien could be put on that person's property to recoup the taxpayers for cleaning that up.
But that would go through the commissioner's court, Chief, before, we wouldn't just be out there summarily cleaning up people's property in place of liens against them, right?
No, sir. So the normal process would be, so when I make first contact, I evaluate the situation. And per the health and safety code, I give them a 30-day notice. Now, most of the times, if they've got a plan, because usually when I show up, it's more than a 30-day project. So they will submit a plan to me on what they're going to do to fix it. And so far, that's worked great. This is only for if we get to that point to where they stop sticking to the plan, or if I show up and they just say, "This is my property. You're not going to tell me what to do, and I'm not going to fix it." I would still give them the 30-day notice. I would still issue the citation. So at least 30 days has passed. When we're getting close to the end of that 30 days is when I would involve the commissioner and Dr. Daly to go assess the property as well. to make sure that they're seeing what I'm seeing.
But at that point, then you would bring before the commissioners court before we spend any money to go out there and clean it up and then assess the lien.
Yes, sir. That's why, so if it was in your precinct, your guys would have to put a bid together and that would get presented to the commissioner's court because ultimately the taxpayer is gonna pay for it. And so that's why the lien against the property is put on there so that the taxpayer's money can eventually be recouped.
Right. I just wanted to make sure that that step was in there, that it comes before us. We talk about that, what we're facing, et cetera. So that it it's not just an administrative call, it's actually.
Yes, sir.
But is that gonna cause a problem with us going on private property with our machinery, or are we gonna have to do a contract?
Well, we'll refer that to smart people in the room, sit down on the wall.
You know, that would be my,
Right, so as long as it's ordered by the commissioner court, that would be fine, especially since we'd be putting a lien. My question, Kevin, is there also a provision in the plan for if it's more than what a county road crew could take on? Like, let's say it's some kind of disease investment or an old methamphetamine lab. We're not sending these guys without PPE and all.
Hazardous materials, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a provision in there for bringing in outside experts when necessary?
Not specifically in the code, but I think that could reasonably be articulated.
Right, so my advice is that we put this process in writing. And that we do that in our written processes, that if necessary and approved by the commissioner court, that we can bring in outside experts.
So yeah, yeah, I can add that to the actual procedure. That's not, I can put that in there for word for word.
You know, it's just, if we have something that's infected with a contagious disease, there's.
okay,
You know, I see a situation where great grandmother dies and the great grandkids are spread all over the US and they don't care. And so we're stuck protecting the neighbors by cleaning up this property. And we go in and find, I don't know, it's a virus, something like that. And we don't want y'all's guys out there getting exposed without the right stuff. So I think there should be a provision for support for other experts if necessary.
my next concern on that is with my precinct, the way it is. If it come down to that, I know we're using the big word if, but it could happen.
Sure.
That can get costly.
Yeah.
So where is that money coming from? Out of that precinct, or is that coming out of the county? Even though we're gonna put a lien on it, you're still gonna have to pay for it up front.
The auditor correctly, but I don't believe that. I think.
Right. That was the commissioner court, when we're approving the abatement process, then we can determine how it's gonna be paid, and what account.
Cause I just know that can get pretty costly.
we'll have to go to like a contingent line.
I'm not asking these questions because I'm against it. I'm just looking at. Yeah,
My God, is thinking eventuality, y'all.
yeah.
And that's also why Dr. Daly is here, because if he detects any of that potential stuff, then that's where that would come in as to what qualified personnel, that's a great point, is what qualified personnel can do this.
Yeah.
And that's where Dr. Daly's expertise would come in on how it needs to be properly abated, what expertise needs to do it, things of that nature.
Are we seeing that now?
Huh.
Dr. Bailey, let me
Ask.
All that, there's no regional, the DSHS gives us alerts, like alerts on any updates for rabies or hantavirus or West Nile, things like that. There's nothing that reasonably going on as far as infectious disease, most of which can be viral virus.
How about the measles? I know that's what it, uptake of measles.
Yeah, of course, that's, we're really aware of that because of the public aspect of, vaccination rates and all that, but, South Carolina, of course, being the part of it, but Texas had the outbreak in West Texas, last year, but right now, no regional uptake.
And like I said, in the year and a month that I've been here, we have eventually gotten there. We've been able to fix the problem so far. But I don't want to run into a situation where we do have an outbreak, because sometimes when these outbreaks occur, they happen quickly. And we don't have a procedure in place to do these things. I don't want to have to wait on that.
You get ahead of it.
Yeah, yes, sir. Just trying to be proactive on it.
So if you come to me and you say, I have a problem over here, and I go to the property and there's somebody living there.
Yes, sir.
And I say, it doesn't look like that big a problem, but
Mhm.
am I the one to bring this forward? You bring it forward?
No, so it would be me, you and Dr. Daly would go discuss it. And then if we wanted to put it as an agenda item, we would put it in as an agenda item. And you would have your say, Dr. Daly would have his say, and it would be talked about just like everything else. So it's not, one person doesn't make the decision, basically. Which I wouldn't want just one person to make the decision if we're gonna take that harsh of a step, because that is a harsh step to place a lien on someone's property. And I acknowledge that. I don't want to do that. But I also don't want neighbors with children to get infected with something that didn't have to happen.
One of the other things in here, and I've talked with Kevin about this, one of the provisions is that, upon declaration that a specific location constitutes a public health threat, a public utility who is notified by certified letter by the public health threat shall discontinue service of the utilities to the specific location named. And I just wanted to get clarification, that's pretty serious and at what point, but everybody's going to be involved in making that decision before it actually happens.
Yes, sir.
And in most cases, you say it's like an abandoned.
And the Red Cross would also get involved. If we're getting to a point to where we're gonna make a place unlivable, I would also involve the Red Cross.
Okay.
The United Nations.
Not the United Nations, I said.
Red Cross is good for about 3 days, right? So I mean, we're talking about gonna be a whole lot of help to a person that's living in abject poverty. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm concerned about creating more law and more law. You know what I'm saying? So where, I mean, I've said this before, I don't have a man crush on you or anything, but I think you're a stand-up guy. I know you have compassion for the public, but every elected official or every official is not that way. And, so. You understand what I'm saying? There are people in my precinct that live in abject poverty.
And it's not just abject poverty, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to help these people. In next year's budget, I think we've talked about this before, one of the things that I'm going to propose is that we have, a general cleanup fund, because there has been numerous times that I walk up and it's 60-year-old mother, 30-year-old her daughter, 90-year-old grandmother, all their husbands have died. It's all their stuff. And so far, I've been able to get through citizen support people to help them get it cleaned up. So I'm not, by any means am I here to issue citations for the purpose of issue citations or any of that. Like my objective is always to serve this community. And so I will do everything in my power for that. And again, the word I want you to focus on is health threat. So that's why Dr. Daly comes in, and his expertise is going to be so important on this, because this isn't just, if you read the health and safety code and what the different violations are, not all of them are necessarily imminent health threats. This procedure is only for those times where there is an imminent health threat to the community. People are going to get sick and potentially die. This is not for all the other stuff that is in there.
We've spent a lot of time dancing on the Health and Safety Code 121.003, which you reference in this.
Yes, sir.
Today, but and while I can echo what Mr. Curtis is saying, is that we know your heart and we know exactly where you're at, and I don't have any problem with that, because I do believe you're serving other people and you're trying to do everything that you possibly can. Our concern is when the next administration is in, right? Is what my concern is, and that's why I asked that question earlier. Does that come to the commissioner's court before we don't want to put you in handcuffs and keep you from being able to do your job. But in my particular position, I'm thinking about the next, 25 years from now, when you retire,
Yes, sir.
who was,
Yeah, I think, and that's why it's not a one-person decision. Obviously, I'm the first person to make contact, but if it gets to that point, I involve the local commissioner and whoever the local health authority is. And then all that stuff happens and it comes before the entire court. So one person can't make the decision by themselves. And obviously the DA is involved. So unless you just got 5, 6, 7, 8 evil people.
Do you run into, like, somebody moves in, buys a piece of property, they drive past Fred Sanford's house, going down there,
Yeah,
and they buy a piece of property, build a nice house, then they call you and say, I found a mouse on my property, it's not, it's Fred Sanford down here. We need to clean this mess up. And they
Well,
bought
Fred.
it, and they bought it, they bought it down there by Fred. Fred's living with his whole life, so they're blaming the mouse on Fred.
yeah,
You should go out there and clean Fred Sanford's place up. I know that sounds crazy, but
yeah,
do you run into stuff like that?
for sure.
So that's happening.
Yeah.
You just showed your age, Mitch. Sanford and Son, you showed your age.
That's what you've been working upon.
Stop the battery places and everything, could this also help that situation, having this in place?
I was sitting outside for that part, so you have to kill me.
what Dr. Daly, he probably does not want to go and look specifically at whether or not the electronic equipment is coming from a prohibited nation. That's not really in his wheelhouse. So they really, although we're using the same code, it really is, in my opinion, it kind of is, it's moving in. They're tangoing while we're jiggling.
Yeah, so 121 also correlates with 343 that is in here, so it kind of takes a different, if you were looking at like a flow chart, it goes to a different flow from this to that. It just goes a different route.
Good question.
All right. Any more questions?
Dr. David, do you have anything else to say?
No, I think it's just important to iterate too, that, this is, not something that you're just reading out in the village. This is a model and a program that's done, in more counties than not.
Yes, sir.
And so we're implementing that now. So we're more like one of the few that don't have a policy in place. Yeah.
The Texas Government Code allows us to adopt it, and we just have not adopted it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Else? Very good. I will close our workshop then at 11:33. We will go back into regular session and resume where we left off at item number 7. Discuss, consider awarding road and bridge material bids for the remainder of the contract period of February 11th, 2026 through April 30th, 2026 for undelivered crushed rock 3 3/4, crushed rock 1 inch or less, and crushed rock 1 3/4 inch or less, flex base and state base, pea gravel 3/8 inch washed, recycled crushed concrete 1 3/4 inch, and delivered and undelivered on oversized aggregates 3x5, 3x8, and 12x24.
Morning, Judge and
Good morning.
Commissioners. I must say, this has been an exciting agenda to be a part of. It's been a little wild. As y'all know, we had to go out for some bids for the remainder of this material bid contract year. So
And why is that?
due to the threshold of the $100,000 limit on some products that were not bid on, some of the commissioners have run into an issue hitting that $100,000 limit. We had to go out for bids to try to prevent, so he could continue buying. And so I actually went out for undelivered on everything that we were able to, because I didn't want to have to keep submitting a bunch of ads. So this is literally just going to be for the remainder of the road and bridge material bid from today up until April 30th. And I'm sure y'all have the packet on the crushed rock 3/4 undelivered. We had no bidders.
The reason I was asking that is because there was somebody at a forum recently that wanted to lay it on the, that the judge didn't do something right. I mean, I was listening very intently. And I just want to point out, I just want to ask you, in your opinion, did the judge do something wrong that these items weren't included in a bid list?
No, these were included on a bid list originally. The companies did not provide bids for these. And
And-
so it puts our commissioners in a situation where they cannot go over $100,000 limit because
Right.
companies do not provide bids.
Right, but the judge didn't do anything to
No,
mess this up.
it
In
hasn't,
fact,
no.
he supported us in this,
Yeah, this
from
has
the beginning.
nothing, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I heard what I heard.
Yeah. There's a lot of things.
This is,
Yeah, we can go on for days about that.
Not me.
All right.
this is solely because people did not turn bids in when we went out a year ago.
Right.
This is what we've gotten into. These companies don't realize it. We have laws to go by. And
Well, is this, I think you said this, I think one of our other vendors before said this, that they are supposed to make a bid on an item that the price goes up and down on. And if that price goes up beyond what they can charge us on our bid, they'll stop providing it.
but they have the opportunity, if they're an awarded bidder,
Right.
they have the opportunity to bring it back to court for a pricing.
That's right. But the reason why some of these things come onto our agenda is not
Because of that, yes.
we didn't seek them out or we didn't think about it or anything. These things just periodically happen.
Absolutely.
So I just thought, I don't know, I was just sensitive, I guess, and it wasn't even directed at me. But, you know, folks should know what they're dealing with.
So
Yes.
do you need a motion to allow us to go out for bids?
Not on this one. This is to award the bids for the rest of this contract period. The next
Okay.
agenda items is our yearly bids that we're going out.
So you'll go ahead and put it out for bid and then come back to us.
No, this here on agenda 7 is for awarding the ones that I just had to go out for.
And we're actually, correct me if I'm wrong, we're gonna get 2 bids. That way, if one cannot supply us the time we need it, we have another one to go.
That
to.
is
That way
something
we're
that
not-
y'all will have to determine,
We're not.
not necessarily on this unless you choose to, but on the next yearly bids for the next agenda
Okay,
item.
all right, this isn't, okay.
This is just for the remainder of the
Okay.
year. So,
Yeah.
yes, because people like different products, but y'all just have to bring the lowest bidder into court and explain that to them that you're gonna be accepting 2 bids when you do that.
I'd make a motion to approve,
Well,
line
wait,
item number 7,
Okay.
unless you have.
I've
we
got,
can still discuss, but
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go right ahead. I've made my motion.
I didn't see where the bids were on the smaller stuff, like the 1.5 inch, 1.75 what the prices was.
That's in your packet.
Okay.
So crushed rock 3/4 undelivered, there were no bidders. Crushed rock 1 inch or less undelivered. The only bidder we had was Woodrum Construction at $36 for every precinct. Crushed rock 1 3/4 undelivered, flex base and state base. Woodrum Construction was the only one that submitted bids. Flex base is $25 for every precinct. State base is $29 for every precinct. Then we have pea gravel wash 3/8 undelivered. Woodrum Construction was the only one that submitted for that, and it's $26 undelivered to every precinct.
Can I ask you a question on, I mean, I think all of us have the packet and we can all look through it there, but if somebody chooses, can anybody just submit a bid to you? So
Yeah.
we can go out there and find our favorite contractors and get everybody who possibly can or will, and then they just need to provide their information to us to satisfy our good friend related to the checks out to.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have to submit, in the time frame when the bids are due and all that, they have to
Right,
submit
right,
it on the
of course,
paperwork.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
But anybody-
They have to become a vendor. They
Yeah,
have to bid.
Yeah, they have to be an approved vendor.
And that was my point, is that there are things that they have to do and not everybody necessarily. wants to do.
Absolutely.
They have to become an approved vendor.
That's right. My motion.
So the only one that's really different, Woodrum Construction was the only one on recycled fresh concrete undelivered at 24 for all precincts. The oversized aggregate we went out for at the same time because it's being used more often, so I try to use the same ads, take care of everything. On the 3x5 oversized aggregate, it's gonna be split. You can see that Fort Elm got precinct 2 and precinct 4 where Woodrum, and this is undelivered. And then Woodrum Construction got delivered for precinct 1 and 3, and then Woodrum Construction got undelivered for everything. So that's really the only difference on that one.
went back up, you said on the crushed concrete, what did you say that?
The
was that-
recycled
it was
crushed
20
concrete,
Is 24, but was that delivered or undelivered?
undelivered. It's only
Undelivered.
undelivered because delivered they already are under contract. This
Okay,
is all undelivered.
okay, thank you.
The only thing has delivered in it's the oversized aggregates.
Yeah.
Because we had not previously gone out for bids on those.
Thank you.
So I just need y'all to approve the
Any-
wording as it is in your packet.
All right, is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
All right, is there any further discussion? Speak now. Forever hold your peace. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 9, discuss and consider solicitation of bids for road and bridge materials for the contract period of May 1st, 2026 through April 30th, 2027.
This is our yearly bid packet that goes out. It just happens to hit at the same time that we're having to do the other. So this is our yearly bid that has every product in it, including additional ones that we've gone out for like lime, the oversized everything that we went out for since our last year's bids will be included in on this original bid packet.
And this is the one that we're gonna go out for 2 bids. And the reason that we're doing that is because we just have one bid, we're stuck, and if he doesn't have the material, we have nowhere else to go. So we're gonna get 2 to keep us out of the bind,
That's something y'all have to make note of in court. So like, if y'all plan on doing that, I kind of need to know because every person that has the lowest bid, if you plan on accepting 2 bids, then we have to bring a representative from each one of those companies with the lowest bid into court so y'all can explain to them that you're gonna be accepting 2 bids on one. It's the local government code on that.
So
I would like to see that happen.
If that's what y'all plan on doing, that's fine. I'll just know that we've got to have somebody here from the company,
And-
so they are here to
And,
represent their
and
company.
is it, if we do that, do we still have to get a letter?
Not if
Hello?
the court chooses and votes to allow 2 companies. You just have to let the other one be here to say their case on it, but you can still vote to choose to do 2 companies.
So can we say if we agree or disagree on that today, here?
No, that's not an agenda. item.
Brian? We can't?
Just say it.
Well, I think we should get 2 bids. My opinion.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I mean,
Well, what happens is we're in little, sometimes especially in the spring, we're in little windows of opportunity to work. And everybody's in that same window. That's why a unit system wouldn't work in this county.
and then you got one vendor that's trying to take care of
You
4
got one
precincts.
vendor trying to take care of all 4 precincts. It's not possible. So,
We'll just make note. I'll be prepared for it when we go out as far as the wording on this, and I'll be prepared to let them know they have to bring somebody here. Because by local government code, you have to bring them in. You can still vote to do 2 companies and award the 2 bids, but they have to be here. The lowest bidder has to be here to hear
Now
that.
you know to be prepared, Nicole.
I'm prepared.
Is riprap included on item number 7?
That is what this oversized aggregate is, yes. Yeah, it'll be in everything like the riprap, the oversized aggregate, all the stuff. I think Mitch had to go out for some lime and stuff. All of that is gonna be included in on this new package. But everything is added to this packet. now.
To save you a little time, I was informed that there is no 3x5 anymore. It's 3x8. So
Yeah.
I noticed that everybody had bid on 3x5. It's 3x8.
That's gonna be one of those, you call them, they say, we don't have this product, you're gonna have to choose a different product. I just put it in there because number one, it costs a lot of money and it takes a lot of my time. I have to go out for this bid or this bid. I'd rather have it all in there. If we get bids for it and they have the product, it's there to
If they
go.
don't, okay.
Well, we do want to make these round.
Good job,
That's
Nicole.
all I was trying to
Appreciate
do.
A lot of work.
We know we've got plenty to do down there.
All
So
right.
this number 9 is just to go out for the yearly
Did
bid
I
packets
call
like
for
we
a
always
vote?
do.
So we need a motion. I'll make the motion that we're gonna go up.
Did we vote on item number 7? I don't recall.
Yeah, we done,
Yeah.
Evan. We're on 9. No, we
didn't
yeah.
say aye.
We're on 9.
All those in favor on item number 7, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. There we go.
All right, now I'm making a motion to consider solicitation of bids for road bridge materials for the contract period May 1st through April 30th, 2027. May 30th, 2026, April 30th, 2027.
And I'll second that.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor on item number 7, say aye. Opposed, like sign. There we go. All right. Now I'm making a motion to consider solicitation of bids for road bridge materials for the contract period May 1st through April 30th, 2027. May 30th, 2026, April 30th, 2027. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. Item number 10, discuss, consider solicitation, or was that the one we did? A road and bridge fuel
One with fuel, number 10.
for contract. Is that the one we're doing right now?
Yep, we're doing number 10 right
All
now.
right, all right. Discuss, consider solicitation bids for road and bridge fuel for the contract period June 1st, 26 to May 31st, 2027. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Oh,
Mr. Curtis. That's Mr. Curtis.
all right.
Mr. Curtis.
Any further discussion?
Is awesome. He's feeling left out.
So does that same criteria apply to the fuel vendors that they have to be here when they're awarded?
If we were to be awarded for two, then we'd have to be involved.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All those in favor say aye. Pose like sign. Motion passes. Item number 10. Item number 11, discuss, consider the issuance of RFP 26-01 for the repair, replacement of the windows on the 5th floor of the courthouse. And as y'all are aware, we've had two different commissioners court insist that we start working on the windows. And we put together, we had a contract with Komatsu to do engineering work, and they did on all the windows, and they've helped put together an RFP for just the 5th floor windows repair. And the reason just the 5th floor, because that can be done without affecting the other people other than noise in the courthouse. Like it can be done during the interim before we actually consider. And the question may be, why not wait until the courthouse restoration? There's no guarantee that the courthouse restoration when it will take place. So, but we do know, and by doing it now, we can reduce the cost of the courthouse restoration by getting the windows in. And they're a complete replacement for all. Most of them are plexiglass. That was the jail, and they've been replaced multiple times with different kinds of glass and plexiglass. And so we're looking at getting it replaced with a specific glass with tint in it. So, but this allows the auditor's office to put the RFP out and with a return date of March the 30th. So.
I got a question, Judge.
Yes, sir.
You answered half of it.
Okay.
So let's think about this. If we get these windows put in, and if, I know these are all ifs, the voters vote to restore this courthouse, and we've got brand new windows, what if the mortar or the roof, or I'm not a construction guy, is it gonna be all for nothing on these windows? Are they gonna take those windows out to replace the blocks, or are we fixing something that's gonna have to be unfixed once if the courthouse gets restored back to fixed? It's like we fix something.
I don't believe so.
But it is possible.
The stonework that they're talking about doing is just repairing the stone that's in there and not actually physically taking it out.
But even the interior walls could affect that. When they redo the interior walls, whatever
That's
they
true.
have to do. I'm just saying it's possible. Might not happen, but it is possible.
I would suggest that if the windows are leaking, that we fix the windows. Because it might be 2 or 3 years.
And that's true too.
That's I believe
that's
we
exactly
go
what
ahead
we
and
did.
do it. There may be some issue. There may be some cost when the full restoration comes about, but the majority of it's going to be, the cost is going to be of fixing the frames and the window and replacing the windows, and that's not going to change.
I just didn't want to get in a situation where however much we spent and then they redo it. Well, we got to redo these windows too. It's going to cost, I don't want to pay for it twice, which I don't think that would happen because we got bringing them. I mean, surely there's still enough to take a window out, fix it, put a window back in.
Right.
You wouldn't have to redo the window cost,
Right.
but you might have to take it out.
Okay. All right, that's my question.
And if it takes 2 or 3 years to really get into the restoration, we do need to stop the water from coming into the interior of the walls. So, and that makes sense. And the commissioners court, and in some instances, has been accused of putting off things that we shouldn't put off. And so we don't want to do that, especially when we know that the courthouse can be damaged by our inaction. In my opinion.
I just wanted those questions answered publicly.
And we really need to get the frames restored now because
I
they're
agree.
rusting out. So, all right, is there a motion to, consider the issuance of RFP 26.01?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Bobby got it.
All right.
Don't wait.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 12, 13, and 14, I put back on the agenda back in December 31st. We tabled it because we wanted these people to show up. We were desired to have a conversation with the board appointments for the ESDs. But unfortunately, they don't have board members and they can't meet. They can't legally meet and conduct business unless we have a board member. So I put them back on the agenda here, and then we can work on getting them in to come discuss their different needs at a future date.
Is it permissible for me to make a motion to approve agenda item 12, 13, and 14, and appointment of the ESD boards collected? I make such a
Yes.
motion.
All right. Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? The names and the candidates are all in the court binder. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 15, discuss, consider county judge sign service agreement renewal for Work Easy software. This is our time clock system.
And it's the time to renew. It's a 1-year renewal. The price is the same, I think we did last year, 15,180. So it's basically the same as last year.
Does it make work easy? No. Good enough.
All right, is there a motion? Is there any questions?
Motion to consider, motion to approve county judge to sign the service agreement renewal for Work Easy software.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 16, discuss, consider authorizing county judge to sign an agreement with Financial Intelligence.
If we could marry together financial intelligence with working easy, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yes.
We're looking at improving our financial software, augmented a little bit with some more sophisticated software. And we've come a long way with what we have, but I'm looking at something a little more robust in the future. And to make our processing a little more efficient. Right now, it's caused some delays in getting some of our internal work. I mean, we're at a good point right now, but I think we can be a lot better off and save some overtime and get some more efficiencies. I'm looking at what I call opportunities lost for doing our regular requirements. And that's why I'm asking to move forward on this contract.
You anticipate when you look at labor costs, overtime costs, implementation, the whole works, that this is going to cost us more than keeping what we have, or would it cost us less than keeping what we have? Where are we gonna come out?
At the end of the day, we're literally within a few $100, depending on the softwares.
And is that measured over a month or over a year or?
Over a year. For the actual out-of-pocket costs, what I was speaking about, the, opportunity to have a more robust and more efficient process. It's added some processing time to our regular onto our regular staff. Okay, so they can't get to what they really need to get to. We're behind on some reconciliations internally. It's
I think we'll be better off in the long run with something that is quicker, faster, a little more sophisticated, easier to use, and catches us up on the just regular work. We should not have to require overtime. And right now here it's year end, we have, the engagement letter just came in from the auditors. So we have the next 5 months where we're gonna be busy on top of already, having our hands full.
How about for you, Jessica? How's it moving this?
The impression I have so far, this will open some greatly, we want to really get things done. And we only take 25 steps, it should drop us to 5 steps, the way that it should.
Do you have frustrations? Do you have frustrations with the current system?
So a long
Loaded
gonna
question.
not cost us any more money, but it's gonna be a lot easier on y'all and more.
And
We're gonna manually, we should be more.
in the, in the long run, you know, he's talking a couple of $100 a year, the cost of it. But in the long run, where I think will see the savings is the overtime.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Well,
We're not worried about that. No.
Okay, Brandon Barr made this motion and Bobby Phillips seconded. Is that correct? All right. Any further discussion?
So this is the use of.
Yeah.
We talked about this for a while, right? I wish I can guarantee that. You were talking about running on parallel ones. Yeah.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. Item number
Thank you.
17, you bet. Discuss, consider approval of payment for engineering study completed in June 2023 for Tillman Tower in Precinct 4 to be paid from account 817-7476497. This was and all the documentation about this is in the binder, but basically despite frequent requests for a PO number, no purchase order was ever entered for this work that was completed. The engineering study was the initial study on that tower to see where our equipment, if our equipment can be put on there and what it would need to be done. They normally charge $2,000. They've dropped it down to $1,000. The study was completed, but it was never paid for. So I'm just asking for permission to go ahead and pay for this invoice for June of 2023.
Motion.
Okay, is Commissioner Barton, is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Williams, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. Item number 18, consent agenda. This is item considered routine by the Commissioners Court and voted on, enacted in one motion. There's no separate discussion of these items unless the county judge or commissioner requests an item be removed from consent agenda considered separately. Okay, are there any items that need to be removed? There's no utility work on here. So we don't.
No, I think I was looking at another.
Okay. So is there any items that need to be discussed separately? Not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Is there a second? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. All right, we're down to item number 19, workshop discuss, no, item 20. Workshop discuss, consider the use and allocation of personal devices for Van Zandt County employees. And this is something that our current policy may need some revision, and there's been a request for certain kind of phones, and I don't know if Sheriff wants to speak or Scott wants to speak or who wants to speak. Okay.
So
It's no secret that I want an iPhone, and I reached out, I sent an email out to all the elected officials, within the county, and I got a response back. Just about every one of them, two, and they all said that they concur that they would like to have an iPhone as well. I reached out to, our AT&T rep, Mr. Trevor Pinter, and asked him some questions that we had, that Scott has concerns about mobile management device or mobile device management. And he said that there's a Samsung Android-based program out there for mobile device management that does both platforms, cross-platform. This one, with iPhones, Androids, and it's the setup for that. I don't know what to pay now. The setup for that is anywhere from $3,500 for the first setup, and then per month for the management of the phone is $2 per month per device. You know, lay down. You know, I've been here in this county working since 2013. I've used my iPhone since 2013 for all county, not county, for all sheriff's offices,
Communication.
everything that I need. And not once I've had any problem with it. It does not touch the county's infrastructure. Correct? I believe that's correct. So it doesn't pose any threats to the any malware or problems within our system. So, you know, I don't know. So, by the way, Samsung, Dallas Police Department uses the Samsung MDM as well, because they have them. They have a way to have. Spoke to all the surrounding counties, except for one. They all have, they give the option of either iPhone or Android. And, you know, today's time to either Android or your iPhone. It's not, there's no in between. So it's not that. It's just
I know how to use them.
Yeah, that's perfect, you're perfect. So I can tell you right now that, I went to the people who emailed me back, and I had emails here, but that's, we're not here to go back. I can tell you that every one of them said their phone, their county issued phone sits either on their desk and they use it for a hotspot like me. The hotspot, the CNN news on my television in my office, so I keep it on desk. CNN. Or sits in their, on their desk and never gets used or whatever else. So, you know, it's just, I think today's time that you should be able to have the option. And by the way, too, let me just say this. God knows that I want an iPhone for many years. I think this is nothing new. It's not, this is not a jab, a stick, stab at anybody or anything. It's not used to it. That it's just I have something that I can't use. And so therefore I use my personal phone every day. And I would like to be able to switch over from separate the two personal business and county business onto something that I actually use, because quite frankly, I'm getting older and I just don't know how to use learn some type of new technology like this. And on top of that too, I can keep going on. They'll say really quick. They'll say really quick. Well, you know, for instance, the radio project, all them guys use iPhones. L3 Harris, all the guys we work with, and my lieutenant, Jeremy Jones, he went out and bought his own iPhone. So he could
FaceTime. FaceTime.
When he's out on site, so he can FaceTime with these guys and say, look, here's my problem. We can't do that with what we provided you. Or what we provided. So he went out and did that. So, you know, I'm willing, I will pay out my my budget, the setup fee and everything to get it going, I have no problem with it. I'll do whatever it takes, because I'm not here with the problem, I'm here with the solution. I'll pay for it, kind of problem with that. And furthermore, too, to ease some of the strain on IT, which we have a big county with a lot of stuff, and we're very busy. I know that, very busy. So even if I talked to, Trevlin as well, and he said that we could even split the county and the sheriff's office, meaning that I manage the MDM for my sheriff's office and still responsible for that. That way, if the DA's office found or anybody gets any requests for our phones and the data that we've used, I can provide just as easy as it is. No problem. So, not only did I come up with the solutions and payment where those that come out of IT, there it is. And with past, since, 2013, Lindsay Ray, Dale Corbin, Steve Hendricks, Joe Carter, and my took office. We've had, someone from the sheriff's office as administrator on the AT&T account. When I found that out, I thought, that's fine. And I didn't think it was. And so I corrected that, turned over as I should, because that's what we're supposed to do. I turned it back over to that department, got all my people off of it because that's not the way it's supposed to be. So, but I have had conversations with Trevor this past week and today about that. And I'm more than happy to be administrator as well, along with Scott, whoever. So myself and Judge Reeves. Okay, so I'll be more than happy to help you out. I have no problem doing that. Be responsible for my office only. Help you on, be responsible for the whole county. Just to tell you hear it from your chance. It's a cell phone with MDM, and we manage to all criminal cases over.
One of the things I'll say is that the county does have a records document retention act already. Records detention.
Detention?
Retention policy. On policy that's in place. It needs to be updated. Part of that is going to be money that's patient spots, that's to be aware. Also, the certain patient. So there's a wise that that's the
Yeah, then, and quite frankly, we don't. Being the city's sheriff's, I don't have any privacy.
Kevin and I both use our personal devices. They're subject to open records because we use them for work just as if they were.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, you're all the sheriff officers, but all the officers out there need to be aware of that as well.
They are, and we know that,
Well, they have the heart, I mean, they know that, but if someone are asking, we need that open records information from that device.
well, too, and, I know Scott's working on the device that, allows them to, what kind of device that goes in their car where it's not a mobile phone, it's the internet for the computer. Right now, if they take their phone out of their car, and I'm kind of going off path here a little bit, but if they take their phone out of their car to go talk to a victim or something, then their whole system loses connection. They have to reconnect and all that stuff, right? And that takes time. And so I think Scott is going to test out a deal for our cars where it's standalone for their cars only. And now they can use their county issued phone for work and not the personal phone, which is kind of what it sounds like you're needing. You're using everything on your personal, which just gets you a hotspot to take the other phone back. Well, no, for you to watch CNN, because, well, that's true too. But what I want is to have to use my personal phone.
So the question is, why can't we get an iPhone and
And
what's
just-
stopping us?
And I spoke to, the district judge yesterday, he said, yeah, please inform them about an iPhone too. Spoke to all 3 hospitals, excluding, they all want iPhones. I spoke to, Karen, she wants an iPhone, I'm sorry. Susan, Jessica, NFHR, you want an iPhone? Now do it, want an iPhone.
I prefer an iPhone.
You want an iPhone? Why do we not already have iPhone? If everybody wants.
Why don't we have that?
Why don't we have?
So somebody told me that my iPhone jumped.
I don't care for it.
I'll be honest with you.
Here's the thing. I'm serious. Let me just jump out there in front of this track. It's Ford versus Chevy thing. Thank you. And I'm gonna jump out in front of the track. Either you hate iPhones or you like it. Either you hate Androids or you like it. That's just, it has nothing to do with personality between people. It's just, you said. Well, he said it right. Rusty said it first. Either you like the Ford or you like the Chevy. You give people full choice when you hire deputies, whether they want to go Ford or Chevy.
Nobody likes it.
Yeah, actually, I did. Sure did. Yep. I put up a deal, so you have, I said, do y'all want a Ford? Sorry, I said, do y'all want a Chevrolet pickup or a Tahoe or a Ford Escape? And then I put on the board, I gave him a choice. I gave him a choice on I gave him a choice on the uniform. So then I gave him a choice on the color, style. I gave him a choice on, what kind of, decal scheme they wanted. But going forward, you've got a Ford and a Chevy sitting on the lot in case you hire a deputy that wants to drive one of the. You have Ford and a Chevy, both in your fleet, where if you hire another new deputy, you ask them if they want to drive a Ford or a Chevy, you give them a choice. If he did some, I haven't played.
Can you
Not, I'll say this, is there not a? We get a
cell phone company?
You want an Android. Kevin, you want an iPhone. You're still the same thing. You got an Android, you got an iPhone. I got Androids on the shelf though. If I did an iPhone, I'd have to have both of them on the shelf, and I'd have to have that other profile. He's right that the MDM can support both, but they're separate profiles. If you set those up with security, it took months to get the Android security set up. It would take months to get that. And every time I make a change in one, I make a change in the other. You add app to one, you have to add app to the other. And they're not gonna be like your iPhone. They're gonna be locked down. They're gonna be like the Android phone. They're gonna be locked down. You don't get that management. You're only gonna have the apps that go on file. I believe so. Well, it's all about. Well, I imagine
About like a year or two, it'll tell you it's gonna update, but we can't force anybody to reboot them. But I can force it to reboot, but then, you shouldn't force it to reboot. You might be using it right now. I have to be using that.
So what you're saying, Scott, is that required to support. Is that what you're saying?
Essentially double. Because we're gonna have people come in. If you're talking about elected officials, I'd be okay with just conceding on elected officials, but if we're gonna open that up to everyone. You're gonna have the deputy leave that had an Android, the next one's gonna want an Apple, or the other way around. Then I'm gonna have to order that different phone, because I'm gonna have that sitting there in stock. If it's within the update period, if we can get a free upgrade on it. Then that's 2 or 3 days added to the time to get one set up. Well, we done like.
Is there a survey out there? Cause like when you're talking about Jeremy, the L3 Harris, she's not phone, so Jeremy went and got him once when you FaceTime. Is there a survey out there of who prefers what? Are Androids more popular than iPhones, or iPhones more popular than Androids, or about the same? Cause I don't know many people like Androids. Everybody I know likes iPhones.
My survey through the elected officials is 100%. Now, I understand, I get what Scott's saying. I understand that. So, and he just said it. If we're willing to compromise just for elected officials tonight, that's a step, there's a step, right? I'm okay with that. I don't know. I just think that today's society, things.
But it's gonna add to items. And right now, we have no idea about securing iPhones. We have to learn all of that.
So.
That is
so
a
that's
whole
why-
other animal.
So that's why I said, I was saying, I'm trying to out. We
Contract out the management of the iPhone.
Yes. I don't know. That's what I was asking. Outside the agency.
Right now, all the people that want to use iPhones only know how to drive. It's a different idea, to drive the Ford, to drive the Chevy, than to work on the transmission of the Ford or Chevy. We got more to do than just driving it. What is it on the iPhone that is so convoluted? You unlock it and you click on, or the Android, you open it, you click on the app. It's the background stuff, the security.
We never get into the vault on the document on the phone itself, like.
Right. It's the security, the back end part.
So if all these other counties are using it, why are they not having the same problem with security?
We only mentioned Dallas County, we know how many IT people they have. They probably have a dedicated iPhone.
I mentioned all candidates.
I don't think Henderson County actually, do they have county phones in Henderson County? Henderson County, because they don't have MDTs in their cars, so they don't have.
They're command staff and some other people.
It's way fewer than what we have. We have 60 total phones and. Why do we have so many more than Henderson County, folks? Well, we have MDTs in cars, and we have issued to our deputies. They don't issue to them.
Well, a lot of those hotspots are for elections, right?
We do have
At least 18 of them. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So it's probably doubled in the past 5 years, and I was security. And it has, it was 20 something when I first took it over.
So, okay, well, you know, if you wanna do a pilot program, it's the workshop, talk about getting rid of my deputy cell phones. And just give them to the CID and the supervisors. And then, like, maybe one or two people that will be on call, that they can move on that short on call. And then, but you're gonna have to provide the fixed competitive for the cars. Where they don't have to lose our.
What all would they have to use on their personal phones?
Well, they reach out, they call people, but. I mean, just what I do.
What apps would the county, they have to use PS Aware? Do they have to have the Excel?
Well, Beyond is going to be a big app for all of them, all the county phones.
I'll tell you right now, I can't work on anybody's personal anything. We just won't touch it. There's too much liability. We can point and say, yeah, click on that, but that's about as far as we can go. When we get to putting Beyond on deputy's phone, get their personal phones.
The situation is double loaded. Like I said, I come up with a solution. You know. I'll take over the MDM for the sheriff. Here, we have dedicated, well, 100% dedicated IT guy for the sheriff's office. That's what posting down. So, no, we don't.
No, that person's been pretty much blocked by the radios.
There's my solution.
In realization, I know it could happen to anybody, but
The issue is the resource.
You're talking about, it can be subpoenaed or whatever. The only really ones that are against it, sheriff, probably the DA, the commissioners. I mean, very slim chance that we're gonna get subpoenaed.
Tony, would you like to answer that question?
Yeah.
I mean,
The
We've got.
subpoena part's irrelevant. Irrelevant if it's a personal or county phone. It's not.
maybe
The requirement is still there.
going in there and looking in your phone.
It's Republican.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Never mind. Discard what I just said.
It is still there.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of that. No, lawyer.
Well, which part? Split it? If y'all wanna go down that road.
You do Android the iPhone or,
Well, let's look at what we got first. Have a plan. See what it's.
Can the fan be split? Because I was aware that the foundation count number could not be split. So I just talked to Fred and he said that he's looking into it right now, but as far as the billing goes, he said the billing would probably be the same, but he probably set it up where there's two different. He's on the side of the account. I don't remember what he said, but he said he leaves. I mean, I could just switch
My head.
us over to Verizon and let him have the AT&T.
Isn't AT&T
T-Mobile.
FirstNet designed for first?
Yeah, but FirstNet has to be under a law enforcement agency. If we're not gonna be FirstNet, then if it's all gonna be under the sheriff's office, then we're gonna split that. We can no longer be FirstNet, I think. Not sure how Fred will feel about that.
Well, what is the advantage of just the name going by?
Again, yes.
On this note, because you're gonna have coverage with AT&T, you're gonna have coverage with Verizon.
There's places one.
You're gonna have it with
Yeah.
AT&T and not Verizon.
There's places one works better than the other. We've tested hotspots for
This
both.
just all comes down to preference. What it comes down to.
I agree on that. It's gonna be.
AT&T market. I haven't heard any their talks about this FirstNet.
But I think Will's Point uses Verizon. I think a few of the other PDs use Verizon.
The Verizon in the Wills Point area in precinct 3 isn't real good. I have guys that have AT&T and I have Verizon. And it,
Let's look at doing that. Splitting it up to where FirstNet is done by the sheriff's office and we go to Verizon for the county.
Do that.
What?
We can't do that.
We can?
I mean, we've maintained a few hotspots that were with Verizon, so we do still have that relationship. That vendor is still open. I just need to find a rep environment where. I don't think the cost will be different. Wouldn't be significant.
Tom, did you have something to workshop?
If I could speak, I'm not a Van Zandt County, but as an organization leader that has both devices, we have to manage some things just to be aware of on the iPhone side. By the way, I have two phones on my hip right now. One is an iPhone, one is the Android, so I'm confused all the time. Right? But on the iPhone, we had to set up the iTunes accounts. That's the requirement. Basically your account, set that up as the company, right? Not as the individual, because if the individual has their own accounts, then whenever they leave, or one of the things that we had in our case was the individual died, we were unable to get into that account to retrieve what was probably important business information, right? So we had to set up the account, master account, so you could do that as the sheriff's department.
That's why we have mobile device management. Exactly, as the signal.
Yeah, it also precluded individuals from downloading applications that come at a cost that they personally want, but that that's the business under, in your case, the government is teaming up to pay for. So That's well, the ones that gone there. You know, things like, yes, I just wanted to mention that. I don't know all of the.
So, and how is that gonna work on an iPhone about what your account that you set up? Is it going to be a county account?
Well, I have to have a totally different mobile device management from Verizon we're gonna do.
Right,
We're
well,
gonna use the term.
well, I'm talking about the iPhone. Is it going to be the email or the account set up going to be an accounting account and not the perfect individual? It's personal. That's what I'm.
Yeah,
They're actually on that same program. It's all ran through MDM. Exactly. Or I can just go buy all of them. With kind of credit card.
You can't enter into a contract without the county judge's signature. Yeah.
Well, are you good with him taking over FirstNet?
We can look at that.
Okay,
And I have to talk to Trevor and find out.
look at that, split it, and then us do Verizon and, for the Androids. And see what issues we gotta address.
I have to learn current device management. I will have to learn completely different.
Because Verizon,
Verizon will be a different. Well,
right now,
I have to find out. I haven't asked.
and the device management program we have is FirstNet's, right?
We pay it through first. It's IBM.
Okay,
That may be a version of that for the Verizon. I haven't.
How much is it?
I think it's what you said. It's like $2 or $3 per phone or $3, whatever. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it's based on the phone. It's on the.
I haven't. I'll be. I think you're.
Pretty much.
You know, I've known these people a long time. If I'm being unreasonable.
I think it's gonna start things up for me. It's gonna be more.
well,
That's fine.
the situation is not.
After, sure, yes.
Well, you know, if we keep living it, that's what we're done. I have to.
All right, that's what y'all working. We'll keep Trevor, figure out what the best way. Anything else? Can I get an iPhone? And you? No.
Only in the sheriff's office.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
We're over. You set it up. I didn't set it up.
All right. Is there a motion?
Motion, second.
All right, second. Motion made, second, all in favor, say aye. We are adjourned at. Yes. Sure, you bet.
Yeah.
Bring up our court.
How are you?
Yeah.
Doing good.
Good deal.
I appreciate you.
All right, I bet.
Good to see you, sir. Yes, sir. So. Bob, is that the cap? Yeah. Okay, those to my man.